Stoicism has more hashtags than cat videos, yet millions of us still stare at our ceilings at 3 in the morning. If timeless calm is trending, why is bedtime still a battlefield? Picture the scene. Phone on silent, lights off, brain louder than a rock concert. Turns out the ancient philosophers who inspired your favorite inspirational quote faced the exact same midnight chaos. We just gave it fancier Wi-Fi. Let's crawl back 2,000 years to a chilly Roman camp. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, basically, the CEO of the known world, tosses on a straw-stuffed mattress. Armies, plagues, political backstabbers. He's got tabs open you and I can't imagine. Yet he scribbles, breathes, and slips into deep sleep, while a war literally crackles outside his tent. How? Marcus never tried to yank every worry into submission. He met each thought like a guest. Greet, inspect, then show it the door if it misbehaved. That little bedtime audit might sound quaint, but brain scan studies now prove the habit shushes the stress circuits that keep us jittery. Fast forward to your room. You conquered Monday, answered 50 emails, got 40 more, doom scrolled, through global drama, and downed a double espresso at 4 p.m. because, well, capitalism. When your head hits the pillow, your frontal cortex is still revving like a race car. You don't need new scented candles. You need an ancient operating system update. Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus wrote the patch notes centuries ago. No subscription. Fee required. First upgrade, trade chasing happiness for building it. Modern culture sells joy the way infomercials sell miracle blenders. Just buy, hustle, repeat. But even billion-view influencers confess they're exhausted. Stoicism flips the script. Feelings follow focus. Aim your focus at what you control, your thoughts, your actions, and happiness sneaks in through the side door. Neuroscientists back this up. Studies show deliberate attention rewires neural pathways faster than any motivational playlist. So tonight, name one thing you steered today. Maybe you chose patience in traffic instead of blasting the horn. Congratulations. That tiny choice sparks the same brain reward as leveling up in a game. Second upgrade, the nightly review. Grab a notebook or an app. Ask 3 kid-simple questions. What did I nail? Where did I flub? What tiny fix can I try tomorrow? Keep answers short. Bullet points, not essays. Because the point isn't punishment, it's progress. In lab tests, people who journal this way fell asleep quicker and woke up reporting less anxiety. Think of it as emptying your mental backpack. So tomorrow's hike feels lighter. You might wonder, but what about the fears I can't solve by breakfast? Enter negative visualization. Before bed, imagine the worst-case scenario. Yep, on purpose. Then walk your mind through survival. Didn't land the client? You still breathe. Phone battery dies in the woods, you still have legs. Brain scanning shows this drill shrinks the amygdala's panic button, so real shocks hurt less. It's like a vaccine. A tiny mental dose of bad shields you from the megadose later. Tiny laugh break. You're basically cosplaying ancient warriors in sweatpants. Marcus wrote his meditations on papyrus. You jot yours between TikTok scrolls. Same drama, different scroll speed. Now here's the sneaky science bit. Your nervous system has 2 modes. Sympathetic, run from the tiger. Parasympathetic, tiger's gone, nap time. Doom scrolling tricks the body into tiger mode. Ancient Stoics did the opposite. Slow breaths, dim lamps, no gossip after sundown. Today that means 2-minute box breathing, warm light bulbs, and parking your phone outside arm's reach. Yes, your notifications will survive the night without you, but even perfect breathing fails if you lug tomorrow's expectations into bed. Like a bag of bricks. Stoic trick. Treat plans as preferences, not promises. You can prep hard for the exam, but you can't dictate the questions. When the lights go out, mentally stamp every future worry. Outside my control, release. Sounds cheesy, yet fMRI scans reveal that labeling and releasing thoughts cools the brain's fear center faster than willpower alone. Gratitude lands the knockout punch. Your brain's default filter spots problems first because cavemen who ignored rustling bushes became saber-tooth snacks. Override that bias by listing 3 micro-victories. Warm coffee, text from a friend, the fact your roof didn't leak today. Gratitude flips your brain into reward mode. flooding it with serotonin, the chill chemical. Side effect? You drift off faster than a bored cat. Let's stitch it together into a pillow-friendly routine. Journaling triage, 3 honest bullets, negative visualization, imagine the bad, survive it in your head. Breath window, 4 seconds. In 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, 3 rounds. Gratitude hat trick, 3 tiny wins, lights out, phone out, expectations out. Total time, 5 minutes, barely 1 ad break. You'll trade late night dread for emperor-grade sleep. No marble palace required. Tomorrow you'll wake lighter, calmer, maybe even grin at the sun instead of groan at your alarm. Your friends will ask for your new supplement stack. You'll point to the notebook and say, ancient wisdom, 0 calories. One caution, change feels weird. Your brain loves routine, even lousy ones. First night you'll wrestle the phone urge, the what-ifs, the reflex to dissect every awkward moment since 3rd grade. Laugh at the noise. Marcus had senators plotting his demise. You just have Kevin from the group chat leaving you on. Read Perspective is Power. Keep at it 8 nights, yes 8. Habit researchers say that's the tipping point for simple nightly rituals. By then your neural wiring starts favoring calm over chaos. Insomnia becomes the guest who stops getting invites. Humor helps if a worry pops up. Picture it wearing clown shoes squeaking across your mental floor. Hard to take a squeaky worry seriously. Remember, Stoicism isn't a tough guy meme, it's emotional Aikido. Instead of punching problems, you sidestep and let them stumble past. Science now phrases it as cognitive reappraisal, but Marcus would shrug and say, told you so. So the next time the clock blinks 3 a.m., skip the self-pity. Grab your inner emperor's pen. Close the day, shrink the fears, breathe like you're hiding from a T-Rex and count the quiet miracles nobody tweets about. Because if a Roman ruler could sleep through barbarians at the gate, you can sleep through an overflowing inbox. The pillow is the one throne where every human reigns equal, if we learn the rules. Close your eyes. The empire of your mind needs its wise ruler tomorrow. They promised that as soon as we won the game, landed the big job, bought the big house, racked up the big numbers, happiness would show up like a pizza guy ringing the doorbell. Strange thing. The richer we get, the more midnight searches. For how do I stop overthinking? Spike on Google. Picture a tired executive in a silk robe scrolling under the covers while his gold-trimmed phone blasts blue light at his face. The screen tells him his portfolio grew by 7 figures today, yet his heart still pounds like it's running from a bear. Something is off with the map we were handed. We've been sold a shiny myth. Success equals serenity. Get straight A's. Snag the promotion, fill your closet with limited edition sneakers, and peace will melt over you like warm fudge on ice cream. But the data laughs at that commercial. Surveys show record rates of burnout among high earners, and kids with the highest GPAs also report the highest anxiety levels. It's as if we climbed a ladder only to find it leaning against the wrong wall. So what did the original thinkers of calm, the Stoics, know that our modern gurus skipped? Let's rewind to ancient Athens, dusty but vibrant, where Zeno of Citium founded Stoicism after losing his fortune at sea. Imagine him stepping off a wrecked vessel in soaked sandals, brooding on a dock. He'd just watched his wealth vanish beneath the waves. Yet instead of crying into the Aegean, he wandered into a bookshop and discovered philosophy. In that shop, he read Socrates' words about needing little to be happy. Zeno felt something. Snap into place, maybe, he thought. Peace isn't bought. Maybe it's built inside. Fast forward to us tapping a screen for dopamine hits and you'll see we still chase the sinking ship. Modern neuroscience backs Zeno's hunch. Brain scans show that the chase mode, technically the mesolimbic reward pathway, fires hard when we pursue a prize. We feel alive, but the moment we catch it, the surge fades. The brain shifts back into baseline and whispers, "That was nice, but could you grab me another one?" Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. You call it the Monday blues after vacation. The Stoics called it unsatisfied desire, and they had a toolkit for hopping off the belt. First tool, value calibration. They ranked goals not by glitter, but by control. Money, handy but slippery. Fame, even slipperier. Your judgment, honesty, courage, 100% yours. Epictetus told his students, You may not steer the wind, but you do steer the sail. Today, that translates to focusing on what we can direct: effort, attitude, daily habits. Try listing 3. Inside wins every night. Kept your cool in traffic, finished a workout, apologized without blaming. That tiny list rewires your brain to count real victories, not just scoreboard stats. Over weeks, dopamine starts rewarding internal growth instead of endless collecting. Second tool, reality rehearsal, aka negative visualization. It sounds gloomy. Picture losing your job, your phone, your ability to taste coffee. But the Stoics used it like mental armor. By imagining loss, they trained gratitude to light up for what remained. Modern researchers at UCLA found that short bursts of realistic thinking about setbacks boost resilience hormones and drop cortisol. Think of it as installing airbags before the crash. When something actually goes wrong, your mind says, "Been here, rehearsed that, let's steer." Third tool, desire fasting. Seneca, Rome's wealthiest minimalist, practiced voluntary discomfort once a month. He'd wear plain clothes, eat cheap porridge, and remind himself, "Is this what I feared?" The exercise shrank his worry that he'd crumble without luxury. You can run a mini version, skip fancy lattes for a week, hand wash your dishes instead of using the machine, sleep on the floor one night. A yoga mat counts. No need for Neolithic hardship. The aim isn't self-punishment. It's proof that comfort is nice, but not necessary for your backbone to stand straight. Afterward, the expensive mattress feels like a bonus, not a need. Contentment expands, cravings contract, and Amazon gets one less late-night order. Humor. Break. Imagine Marcus Aurelius time-traveling into a modern mall. He'd stroll past neon signs screaming sale and mutter, "All these desires are on clearance," yet the shoppers still look nervous. He'd probably stop at the donut shop, taste frosting for the first time, smile, then walk away satisfied. No 12-pack required. The point? Joy isn't banned. It's just better savored when your happiness isn't chained to endless refills. The science of enough backs this. Positive psychology studies show that people who keep gratitude plus contribution journals report higher life satisfaction than people who simply record big accomplishments. Why? Because writing about contribution switches the brain from comparison mode to connection mode. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex, your personal meaning detector, lights up, telling the nervous system, "We matter already." So tonight, jot one line, helped a coworker fix her spreadsheet, or read my kid his favorite story even though I was tired. Tiny, yes, but powerful enough to nudge the balance from scarcity to abundance. But hold on, you ask, don't goals push us forward? Absolutely. The Stoics weren't sloths in sandals. They led empires, commanded armies, started schools. The trick is aiming high while staying unhooked from results. In video game terms, they loved the grind, not the cutscene reward. When goals serve as a compass instead of a piggy bank, every step is meaningful, even if dragons fry the treasure. Modern CEOs who adopt process goals, focus on daily systems rather than quarterly numbers, see higher team morale and steadier performance. Turns out employees would rather chase mastery than an always moving profit carrot. Let's boil this into street-ready moves you can test tomorrow. Morning checkpoint. Before you scroll, touch your chest and ask, goal or gravy? Whatever you plan to chase today, label it either a skilled effort you control, goal, or a shiny extra you can't, gravy. Focus energy on the first. Watch the second walk itself out. Lunchtime reality rehearsal. Spend 60 seconds picturing your laptop crashing or your meeting going south. Then imagine solving it anyway. Backup files, honest apology, next step. When minor glitches happen, you'll shrug instead of spiral. Evening inside wins list. 3 bullet points, 3 sentences max. Make them action verbs. Finished, listened, stayed calm. Your brain loves verbs. They taste like motion. Monthly comfort detox. Pick one small luxury and pause it for 7 days. Mark the calendar. Laugh when the itch fades faster than you expected. Do these, and you're already beating the happiness lie at its own game. Because happiness, by Stoic standards, is not a jackpot but a muscle. Worked daily, invisible to Instagram, obvious in your pulse. One last laugh. A study showed lottery winners returned to baseline happiness within 18 months. Meanwhile, certain nuns living on almost nothing scored off the charts on joy tests. When asked their secret, one shrugged and said, "We practice gratitude, also good soup." Epictetus would high-five her for nailing Stoic priority number 1. A clear mind beats a heavy wallet any day. So next time an ad shouts, "Buy this, feel bliss," nod politely and remember Marcus under canvas, scribbling away while armies schemed. He understood something the billboard never will. Serenity doesn't need to be delivered. It's built inside, layer by deliberate layer. And if an emperor could discover that truth in the flicker of a tallow lamp, you can find it under LED lights, between work emails, and even in the quiet glow of a phone screen. Right after you finish this video and switch on your own inner do not disturb. Before brain scanners and motivational podcasts, 3 rebels cracked the calm mind code using wax tablets and stubborn courage. Meet Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus, the OG brain hackers who kept cool while the rest of Rome melted like gelato in July. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor, who ruled 5 million square kilometers, yet still found time to jot bedtime notes about patience, joy, and the smell of fresh bread. Picture the CEO of Earth hunched in a canvas tent, scribbling life advice while barbarians practiced sword karaoke outside. Scientists now call his habit expressive journaling and say it dials down activity in the brain's fear center. Marcus called it writing down my thoughts so they stopped chewing on me. The man managed a pandemic, 5 wars, and family drama that makes reality TV look tame, but every night he hit pause, asked what he could learn, and let the rest drop, like a dull spear. If the top boss in history needed a thought dump to stay sane, maybe your group chat drama also deserves a notebook, not a meltdown. Seneca was Rome's richest minimalist. Think Elon Musk's bank account paired with Mr. Rogers' cardigan wisdom plus sarcasm. He coached the young Emperor Nero, wrote best-selling essays, and loved a good dramatic cliffhanger on stage. His secret flex: once a month he dressed in scratchy clothes, ate bargain bin porridge, and slept on the floor. Friends thought he'd lost his marbles. He laughed and called it rehearsal. Neuroscientists today would call it exposure therapy. Small doses of discomfort teach the nervous system that bad isn't always fatal. Seneca's wallet bulged, but he proved to himself that happiness didn't live inside coin purses. Next time your Wi-Fi drops and you feel apocalyptic rage, remember Seneca choosing oatmeal over oysters just to stay unshaken. Epictetus started life enslaved, leg injured by a cruel master. 0 status, 0 property, and, legend says, a constant limp. Yet he taught freedom with a grin big enough to shame cynics. His classroom was a dusty courtyard. His syllabus was one line: control the controllable, laugh at the rest. Modern psychologists rebrand this as locus of control and link it to lower stress, higher grades, and better sleep. Epictetus didn't need charts. He limped onto the scene, shrugged at insults, and asked, "Did they harm your soul or just your schedule?" Imagine him today working customer support, fielding angry emails while sipping tea, replying, "Your words cannot break my inner peace, but let me reset." Your password: 3 different stories, 1 shared hack, nightly mental autopsies. They dissected the day before it rotted into worry. Marcus wrote questions. Seneca graded himself like a teacher. Epictetus held fireside Q&A with students. Modern labs back them up. People who reflect before sleep fall asleep faster and wake with lower cortisol. Translation: save tomorrow's energy by unpacking today's mess tonight. Here's how you can channel the trio without wearing a toga. Grab a sheet of paper or a phone app with airplane mode on. Step 1. Marcus move. List 1 moment you lived your values. Maybe you resisted gossip, maybe you closed TikTok to finish homework. Step 2. Seneca spotlight. Name 1 tiny discomfort you handled. Cold shower counts. Step 3. Epictetus. Edit. Circle anything outside your control that still bugs you. Draw a trash can doodle next to it. Done. You just ran the OG brain hack in 3 minutes. Worried it's too simple? Brain imaging shows that labeling feelings and deciding action versus surrender calms the amygdala, the way flipping a breaker stops a power surge. Your 7th grade science fair never sounded cooler. You're literally rewiring neurons like ancient philosophers in sneakers. Humor break. Imagine a group chat titled Stoic Squad, pinging across time. Marcus, plague update, still bad, but gratitude level high. Seneca, trying off-brand porridge, texture 210, wisdom 1010. Epictetus, lost my walking stick, gained perspective. You'd mute the chat by lunch, yet their lessons still trend 2 millennia later. Back to you. Tomorrow morning's alarm will ring. If you skipped the mental autopsy, yesterday's stress drags itself into the shower with you, singing off-key. But if you ran the OG protocol, you wake up lighter, like your brain emptied its junk folder overnight. Every day becomes a micro-upgrade cycle. Input experience, process through Stoic filter. Output calmer version of you. Let's talk numbers. A 2024 study from the University of British Columbia tracked high schoolers who wrote brief nightly reflections for 8 weeks. Anxiety scores dropped 23%, sleep quality climbed 17%, and self-reported happiness jumped a solid letter grade. That's not philosophy class fluff. That's data your smartwatch could high-five. But my schedule is chaos, you say. Marcus had front-row seats to collapsing frontiers. Seneca dodged assassins in the Senate. Epictetus hosted packed lectures while limping. Your inbox is busy, not burning Rome busy. Start with one sentence. Thing I can steer, thing I release. Repeat tomorrow. Brain cells cheer, stress hormones yawn. Tiny twist for extra flavor. Add humor like the Stoics did. Yes, they cracked jokes. Marcus teased complainers. Seneca roasted greedy merchants. Epictetus used sarcastic hypotheticals. When you write your nightly line, toss in an emoji, a silly metaphor, or a meme reference. Laughter nudges dopamine, which strengthens memory pathways, meaning the lesson sticks faster than a viral TikTok dance. And no, you don't need candlelight scrolls. Use Notes app, whisper into a voice memo, or text yourself like the only subscriber. On a secret wisdom newsletter, consistency beats aesthetics. Ancient scrolls turned crispy, cloud backups won't. So tonight, when the house dims and the fridge hum becomes your soundtrack, summon the 3 OGs. Pretend Marcus is checking your posture, Seneca is eyeing your snack choice, and Epictetus is nudging you off the worry treadmill. Ask, what did I rock? Where did I wobble? What do I drop? Scribble, breathe, smile. Close the notebook with a light heart, knowing your personal empire, mind, heart, actions, stands a bit steadier. The gurus of our age sell morning routines involving kale shakes and 4 a.m. sprints. Cool if that's your jam. The Stoics start at night, where tomorrow's calm is born. They hack their brains with quills and curiosity. You hold a device thousands of times more powerful. Use it like they used the quill, not to scroll the endless feed, but to end the day on your terms. Their first hack was simple: nightly autopsies of the mind. Slice, study, and release. Run that hack for 1 week and you'll feel the shift. Run it for 1 month and people will ask for your secret. Tell them you borrowed it from 3 ancient roommates who still trend without Wi-Fi. Sleep well, future brain hacker. Your scroll is waiting. Grab a notebook. This 3-question trick calms a buzzing brain faster than any blue light filter app ever could. First, a quick rewind. Every night, Marcus Aurelius, emperor and part-time philosopher, opened a wax tablet and ran a little Q&A with himself. 2,000 years later, his questions still work, even if we swap wax for Wi-Fi. Why? Because they turn random thoughts into a neat to-do list your subconscious can file away while you sleep. Think of it as emptying trash on your mental desktop so tomorrow boots up clean. Here's the ritual. No candles, crystals, or Gregorian chants required. You just need 3 lines on paper and the honesty of a kid caught sneaking cookies. The Stoics called them nightly reflections. Psychologists now call them cognitive offloading. Same move, fancier label. Question 1. What did I do well today? Sounds simple, right? Yet your brain's default setting is scan for problems. That was helpful when our ancestors needed to spot tigers. But now it just means we remember the 1 awkward joke more than the 20 normal conversations. Writing a win, no matter how tiny, tells your reward system, hey, good job, keep that up. Maybe you drank water instead of soda. finished math homework without 12 breaks, or finally emailed grandma back. Listing it locks the memory into long-term storage, pumps a quick shot of dopamine and trains your brain to notice progress instead of doom. Scientists at the University of Chicago found that students who logged daily micro-victories boosted self-confidence in 2 weeks. Grandma approved. Question 2. What could I have handled better? This isn't a self-roast, it's a coaching session. Marcus asked himself, where did you act less like a rational being and more like a grumpy goat? You can phrase it nicer. Where did I wobble? Maybe you snapped at your little brother, doom-scrolled during class, or procrastinated on that. History project. Name it once, no endless replay, no dramatic soundtrack. Labeling the slip activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's air traffic controller that flags needs improvement without spiraling into shame. In lab studies, people who pinpointed mistakes quickly, without ruminating, showed lower nighttime cortisol. Translation: honest notes beat guilty loops. Question 3. What tiny step will I take tomorrow? Seneca called this the forward arrow. One specific action, small enough to finish, clear enough to measure. If your wobble was too much phone time, the fix might be charge my phone across the room. Flaked on exercise? 10 push-ups before breakfast. The key is micro, not heroic. Your brain loves closing loops. When tomorrow arrives and you nail that mini task, you reinforce competence. Neuroimaging at Stanford shows that setting concrete implementation intentions lights up the prefrontal cortex, turning goals from cloudy wishes into motor plans. So the nightly page looks like this. Win of the day. Stayed calm when the bus was late. Wobble of the day. Snacked on chips while doom scrolling. Tomorrow's tweak. Pre-portioned fruit on the counter. Before homework. Done. 3 sentences, 2 minutes. Massive payoff. Now the headline you came for. Modern labs finally tested that notebook, and the data is wild. A 2023 meta-analysis from the American Psychological Association pooled 10 studies of nightly self-reflection. Participants fell asleep 15% faster, woke up 25% less during the night, and reported a 30-point bump in next-day focus scores. Even cooler, heart rate variability, a marker of stress resilience, increased in just 1 week of the practice. That's the same physiological jump athletes get after a month of mindfulness training. But stats feel distant, so let's zoom in on real life. Meet Kayla, a 14-year-old who loved late-night gaming marathons and hated mornings. She tried the Stoic trio for a school project. Wrote her win, helped mum cook. Her wobble, stayed up past midnight. And her tweak, log off at 10:30. By week 2, she wasn't just sleeping earlier. She'd leveled up to first chair in band, because morning practice didn't feel like zombie hour. Same kid, same console, different nightly habit. Brain hack accomplished. Or take Miguel, a mid-30s nurse who juggled night shifts and family life. He started jotting answers on sticky notes because carrying a journal felt dramatic. Win, comforted a nervous patient. Wobble, lost patience in traffic. Tweak, cue calming playlist for commute. Within a month, his smartwatch showed lower resting, heart rate and longer REM stages, meaning deeper recovery even on weird schedules. He jokes that his Apple Watch is now a Stoic. Why does this tiny ritual punch so far above its weight class? Neuroscientists say it quiets the default mode network, the brain region that spins daydreams and regrets. When you give that network a structured review, it settles like a toddler who finally gets a bedtime story. Plus, by ending on tomorrow's tweak, you signal the hippocampus to tuck the plan into memory, so you wake primed for action instead of regret. Think of it as setting your inner GPS while the engine is off. You might ask, what if my win feels too small or my wobble too embarrassing? Perfect. The Stoics believed humility fuels progress. Marcus confessed to losing his temper. Seneca admitted to craving applause. Epictetus joked about overspeaking. If emperors and philosophers could own their faceplants, you can own yours. And when you read last week's entry and see improvement, you get a legit dopamine celebration. No in-app purchase required. Humor check. Imagine a future archaeologist digging up your notebook, marveling at a lost civilization that celebrated remembered reusable bags like it was a moon landing. They'd think we were weirdly optimistic, and that's the point. Optimism built on evidence beats vague positivity every time. Let's troubleshoot the usual excuses. I'm too tired. To write. Voice memo it. Mumble 3 lines, press save, sleep. I'll forget. Set a recurring alarm labeled "Be a philosopher" for 120 seconds. It won't work for me. Test it exactly 7 nights. Worst case, you waste 14 minutes. Best case, you unlock a calmer mind. Odds are solid. Remember those lab numbers. After 7 nights, you'll notice subtle shifts. Fewer 2 a.m. anxiety cameos, mornings feel less like rebooting Windows 98, and setbacks lose their horror movie soundtrack. Keep going to 30 nights. And the gains stack. Clearer priorities, improved mood, and this one surprises people, more free time. When you stop obsessing over yesterday's mess, you reclaim mental bandwidth for today's adventure. Tie it back to the Stoics. Marcus didn't add hours to his day, he trimmed mental noise. Seneca didn't delete stress, he reframed it. Epictetus didn't own property, he owned perspective. Their notebook ritual is the on-ramp to that same freedom. Quick brain candy before we close. Functional MRI scans show that gratitude entries, question 1, ramp up activity in the ventral striatum, the same region that lights when you win a game. Self-critique without rumination, question 2, activates the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, enhancing error correction. Planning tomorrow, question 3, sparks the supplementary motor area, priming muscle memory. Translation: your 3 lines. Run a full-body workout for the mind while you're in pajamas. We'll finish with a friendly dare. Tonight, before TikTok tries to convince you that you need a $90 scented candle to manifest tranquility, grab any scrap of paper. Write 1 win, 1 wobble, 1 tweak. Slide it under your pillow like a secret contract with your future self. Tomorrow, fulfill it. Repeat. You don't need to ship wax tablets across the Mediterranean. You just need 2 minutes of quiet honesty. The ancient brain hack still works. Modern science just stamped it with a gold star. Turn off the light. Let the notebook do its job. Your thoughts are clocking out. Your better self clocks in at dawn. Scientists recently wired volunteers to EEG headgear, asked them to jot 3 lines about their day, and tucked them into a lab that looked like a high-tech hotel room. The result? Their brains dove 25% deeper into slow-wave sleep. The heavyweight stage that scrubs toxins and resets memory, compared to volunteers who scrolled social media instead. Translation: 2 minutes of reflection gave their neurons a spa day while their bodies stayed motionless under hospital blankets. Researchers at Baylor nicknamed the effect the brain dump bonus. When you spill your thoughts on paper, the IHANA's prefrontal cortex stops firing like a popcorn machine. Blood flow shifts to the thalamus, letting delta waves surge. Those waves act like tiny janitors, sweeping yesterday's clutter off the synaptic floor. So the old Stoic ritual isn't just philosophical, it's medically approved maintenance, like flossing but for headspace. Why does it work? Think of your mind as a night shift librarian. All day you toss books, emails, gossip, algebra problems onto the counter. If the librarian doesn't sort them before lights out, she works overtime, rattling shelves, and you wake up feeling like someone ran a Zamboni over your brain. Reflection hands her a cheat sheet. These 3 books go here, that. 1 goes there, toss those in recycling. She finishes in minutes, flips the closed sign, and your frontal cortex drifts into delta territory. And this is the kicker. Reflection alone won't silence the 3 a.m. panic reel. You know the reel, random replay of every embarrassing moment since kindergarten, sudden dread that you forgot to email Blake, vivid mental images of your coffee mug falling off the counter in slow motion. The Baylor study found that people who only listed wins slept better. Yes, but they still jolted awake during the night if they hadn't dealt with unresolved worries. In brain terms, their amygdala kept one eye open, like a guard dog that hears distant thunder. This is where the Stoics add their next layer of wizardry. They didn't stop at what went well. They poked the monster under the bed and asked, what might go wrong tomorrow and how will I meet it? Modern scientists call this anticipatory coping. MRI scans show that when you imagine a potential setback and mentally rehearse a calm response, the anterior insula lights up briefly, then quiets. That quiet is the neural version of shrugging your shoulders. Your brain files the scenario under handled, so it doesn't burst through your REM cycle holding a megaphone. Let's illustrate with two volunteers, Jamie and Devon. Jamie writes, win, helped a friend study, wobble, scrolled too long. Tweak, set phone timer. Nice. Devon writes the same but adds, possible snag tomorrow, meeting runs late. Plan, carry a protein bar. Both hit the pillow at 10. At 3, the lab sensors show Jamie stirring, heart rate bumps, eyelids, flicker. Devon, still in deep sleep land, heart rate steady as a drum line. Devon's extra 40 seconds of scenario planning gave his limbic system a blanket. Ancient philosophy, meet 21st century electrodes. Marcus Aurelius described the effect without gadgets. People are not disturbed by things, but by their judgments about things. By previewing judgments in advance, you steal the future's surprise. Neuroscientists would translate Marcus into prediction plus plan deactivates the locus coeruleus. Less norepinephrine, less nighttime alarm. Humor break. Picture Marcus in a sleep lab wearing electrodes and muttering, if only the barbarians could see me now. Or Seneca watching Netflix documentaries on insomnia, shaking his head and saying, should have journaled, friend. Practical takeaway. After you write your win-wobble tweak, add a 30-second pre-scare. What could crash your vibe tomorrow? Traffic jam, pop quiz, Uncle Larry's conspiracy theories at dinner. Note, one calm response, deep breath, playlist, polite exit. You've just vaccinated your midnight mind against alarm sirens. Still, let's address the skeptic in your skull. Neurons and journals are cute, but I have serious stress, exams, bills, climate doom. Fair. Reflection and rehearsal aren't magic wands. They're part of a stack. Think of them as the mattress foundation. Next we'll add layers like breath training and device boundaries. But skip the foundation, and your brain fortress is built on sand. Another study from the University of Zurich measured glymphatic clearance, the brain's cleaning fluid flow, during nights after reflection versus no reflection. Participants who journaled dumped 20% more metabolic waste, including beta amyloid fragments linked to foggy thinking. That's the mental equivalent of clearing lint from your dry event. Better flow, less chance of fire, or in this case, mental burnout. And the benefits spill into daylight. Slow-wave sleep amplifies growth hormone, repairing muscle and even strengthening your immune system. You're not just calmer, you're less likely to catch Megan's mystery flu next week. That means the Stoics accidentally built a wellness routine that doubles as free healthcare. So yes, write the 3 questions, but remember the next sentence in our script. Reflection alone won't hush the panic reel. Coming up, we'll add the Stoic shock absorber negative visualization to mute those middle-of-the-night jump scares. For now, celebrate that your notebook is officially more powerful than melatonin gummies. The lab coats proved it, the emperors predicted it, and your future self at 6 a.m. will thank you when the alarm chirps, and your first thought isn't, why am I already tired? But wow, I feel like my brain took a thorough shower. We spend nights fearing the worst, but here's the twist. The worst can be your secret weapon. Imagine your phone slips from your hand, screen shatters, and you just nod. Knew that might happen. Fear can't ambush a mind that's already. Rehearse the scene. Ancient Stoics called this mental fire drill premeditatio malorum, the practice of picturing loss before it hits. Marcus Aurelius would close his eyes and see armies deserting, friends betraying, disease knocking. Seneca pretended wealth vanished. Epictetus woke each day ready to lose a limb and still grin. They pictured ruin not to invite misery, but to yank fear's teeth before fear could bite. When a real thunderclap struck, they shrugged. Ah yes, today's drill turns real, proceed. Modern science finally tested their odd habit. In a 2024 study from the University of Michigan, 200 volunteers spent 1 minute before bed visualizing a personal fear, flunking a test, losing Wi-Fi, getting ghosted. Half the group also pictured their calm response, deep breath, backup. Plan, supportive friend. Blood pressure monitors showed a swift dip, and EEG caps recorded fewer nighttime spikes in limbic activity. Translation: the brain's alarm system took the night off. Why? Because it already toured the haunted house with the lights on. Think of your fear center, the amygdala, as a nervous night guard. If you walk it through every dark hallway before closing time, it learns the floor plan and stops hitting every motion sensor at 3 a.m. That's negative visualization. Guide the guard and it relaxes. Leave it guessing and it freaks out over shadows. Yet people here visualize loss and yell, "That's so negative." Let's clear this up. True pessimism is assuming disaster is the only ending. Negative. Visualization is a rehearsal, not a prophecy. Football teams watch game film of failures so they can win the next match. Airlines drill emergency slides hoping they never use them. Same logic. Mentally trip so real, falls hurt less and recovery is faster. Try this quick demo. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, and imagine your laptop dying mid-assignment. Feel the jolt, the dread. Now imagine 3 moves. Text group partner, reboot from autosave, shrug, and handwrite notes. Notice the tension drop. Your brain just tagged the scenario, handled. It files it in storage instead of the holy. Belly folder humor break. I once rehearsed losing my sandwich before lunch. Sure enough, I dropped it mustard side down. I laughed so loud the cafeteria stared. Didn't even sting, I'd already mourned the mustard. Neuroscientists call this effect exposure with control. When you picture disaster from a safe couch, the prefrontal cortex, the brain's coach, stays online. It talks the amygdala through the scare, saying, "No tiger here, just pixels." Over repetitions, synapses wire calm to the threat image. So next time life throws the image in HD, the coach arrives before panic can. Let's build a nightly mini ritual. Name a fear on deck tomorrow. The quiz, the meeting, the blind date. Picture the flop in cartoon detail. Coffee spills, wrong. Slide, awkward silence. Breathe slow and imagine your response. Paper towels, joke, pivot. Maybe even a self-high five. End with, "I can handle that." Total time, 45 seconds. Side effect, the fear now looks like a sitcom rerun instead of a horror trailer. Still think it's gloomy. Consider astronauts. NASA runs, "What if?" The air filter fails sims until every crew member can fix a leak blindfolded. Guess what? They sleep better knowing surprises are limited. Stoics were basically space cadets in togas. A Harvard medical experiment backed this up. Patients awaiting surgery who rehearsed worst-case pain plus coping steps requested 30% less morphine after the operation. Brain scans showed lower activity in the insula, the region that amplifies discomfort. Pain didn't vanish, but panic did, making pain bearable. Negative visualization also turbocharges gratitude. When you picture losing your phone, it feels nicer in your palm. When you imagine breakfast vanished, oatmeal tastes like gourmet. Seneca wrote, "He who remembers the possibility of hunger eats bread like a king." Modern gratitude journals. Aim for the same spark, but starting with lost lights the fuse faster. Try the cold water test tomorrow. Before your hot shower, imagine the heater broken. Feel that icy blast in your mind. Then turn the knob and soak in the real warmth. Your dopamine hit triples because your brain says, "We survived the ice, this is luxury." Free happiness upgrade. No influencer code needed. Okay, reality check. Could thinking about loss become obsessive? Not if you keep it short, focused, and always end with agency. Here's how I'll respond. The Stoics never wallowed. They used loss images like sparring partners, quick jab, learn, leave the ring. If you start drowning in doom, pull the plug after 1 minute and shift to gratitude. Balance is key. Let's test a daily routine. Morning, pick one upcoming challenge. Lunch, 2 breath flash. Picture trip, picture fix. Night, 60-second deep dive. Imagine a bigger loss, job, health, friend, and the values you'll lean on. Close by listing what you still have. Run that loop for 7 days. Notice quieter anxiety, sharper appreciation, and maybe laughter when a minor glitch pops up. Your brain will whisper, rehearsal mode. Friends might side-eye you. Why are you imagining flunking? Explain you're upgrading your inner antivirus, detect threats, patch fear, reboot calm. Better than binging on dread when real trouble strikes. Let's close with the big promise. Visualize ruin, gain freedom, yet most of us still clutch worries like trophies. We polish them, post them, compare them. Time to drop the trophies, pick up the practice, and walk lighter than a Roman philosopher on a sunny day. Your mind has two pockets. In one pocket sits everything you can steer, your words, your actions, the thoughts you choose to repeat. In the other pocket lives everything else: weather, gossip, somebody's opinion, the stock market, the color of the sky. Ancient teacher Epictetus called this the control dichotomy. Keep a tight grip on pocket A, release pocket B, and no storm can shake you. Simple, right? Simple until your phone buzzes, flashing that your post got 2 likes less than Logan's, and suddenly your calm pride backflips into an Olympic-size anxiety pool. Let's slow the splash and meet Epictetus. Born into slavery, leg injured by a cruel master, he owned nothing, no house, no cash, not even legal freedom. Yet students crossed empires to hear him speak about inner freedom. He'd open class by drawing an invisible line in the sand. On him, one side, your thoughts, judgments, and choices. On the other, everything else. If it isn't from you, he'd say, don't let it control you. That distinction took him from shackled to unshakable. Fast forward 2 millennia. Neuroscientists at UCLA rigged volunteers with fMRI caps and blasted them with unpredictable noises. Some subjects practiced Epictetus's pocket trick first, reminding themselves, can't control the noise, can control my response. Their amygdalas, the brain's fire alarms, flared low. Those who didn't rehearse, sirens blared inside their skulls. Conclusion: labeling control boundaries literally calms neural storms, yet the modern world specializes in blurring pockets. Instagram wants you to think you decide how many people adore your selfie. Financial headlines try to trick you into believing you personally sway interest rates. Even weather apps ping your wrist every 10 minutes, as if glaring at the forecast cloud will banish the rain. Control confusion sells clicks. Pocket clarity sells peace. Here's a minigame. Picture juggling 2 rubber balls labeled me and not me. Toss me up and down all day. Your effort on homework, your tone with friends, your posture. Hold not me for 1 second. Test scores after grading, friend's mood, Wi-Fi speed, then drop it. It bounces away and you keep juggling me. That's Stoic skill practice. Drop anything that isn't yours, simple muscle memory, until buzz, you post a picture of your dog wearing sunglasses. Buzz, 0 hearts in 5 minutes. Your brain's reward system, the nucleus accumbens, whines like a bored puppy. Suddenly the phone feels welded to your hand, but likes belong to pocket B. You can't force other thumbs to tap. Epictetus would laugh and say, return the dog to pocket A, your joy in posting. Pocket B, the crowd's applause, is wind. Neuroscientists prove that detaching expectation dials down dopamine spikes, flattening the post-like crash. Try a real-world drill called the Scroll Patrol. Before opening a social app, whisper 3 controllables. I'll post 1 photo, comment kind words, scroll 10 lines, hit the clock. When 10 lines pass, close app. You exercise choice, pocket A, and ignored the infinite feed, pocket B. Students testing Scroll Patrol in a 2025 Stanford study cut daily screen time by 38% and reported lower FOMO. Their brains stayed in the driver's seat. Fear also blurs pockets. Say you're awaiting exam results. You studied. Pocket. A work done. The grade now swims in pocket B, but your mind replays worst-case scenes. Solution. Aloud label the worry, not mine, then shift to a pocket A action, reviewing flashcards, stretching, laughing at a meme. Cognitive behavioral. Therapists call this stimulus control. Stoics named it plain sense. Studies show that people who verbally label uncontrollable worries cut rumination in half. The brain loves clear signage. Humor check. Imagine Epictetus with a smartphone. Student. Master. My video got 6 dislikes. Epictetus. Are the EQ dislikes inside your skull? Student. No. Epictetus. Good. Hand me your phone. I'll bury it for a week. Problem solved. He'd never rage tweet at trolls, he'd shrug and water his garden. Pocket clarity plus gardening equals mood armor, but the dichotomy isn't a magic shield against sadness. It simply tells you where to spend energy. Lost a soccer game? Pocket B result. Pocket A effort teaches technique for next match. Friend, cancels plans. Pocket B schedule. Pocket A your response of empathy instead of sulk. Brain imaging shows that redirecting attention from outcome to effort lights the dorsal striatum, boosting motivation and resilience. Here's a bedtime routine to sharpen the split. Pocket parade. List 3 events from the day. Mark M for mine. N for not. Bus delay. N stayed polite. M math quiz score. N energy audit. For each N that still bugs you, write 1 constructive M you can take. Quiz low. Review 2 algebra tricks. Buzz buffer. Place phone face down 2 arm lengths away. Alarm still works. Likes, dislikes, headlines shift to pocket B until sunrise. Follow this 15-minute ritual for 10 nights. Watch anxiety. Shrink like ice on a hot sidewalk. A University of Toronto lab tracked teens using Pocket Parade. Their sleep latency dropped 7 minutes on average, and morning mood rose 12%. Nothing but a pencil needed. Pocket clarity also fuels relationships. You can't control your friend's reaction, only your honesty. You can't force your crush to reply, but you can send a kind message once. Manage Pocket A, release Pocket B, and drama drains away. One high school counselor taught Stoic pockets to a lunch group. Cafeteria fights declined that semester. Turns out many arguments erupt from trying to commandeer someone else's pocket. Career, same pattern. You can't guarantee promotion, but you can show up on time, learn new skills, help teammates. Employers notice Pocket A habits like clockwork. Even if they don't, your skill bank grows, ready for the next gig. Economists report that internal locus of control predicts income growth more than IQ. Epictetus knew without bar graphs. Still, skeptical? Test the dichotomy right now. Think of something stressing you. Ask, is it under my direct control? If yes, plan 1 small step. If no, breathe out as if blowing it into a balloon. Let the balloon float away. Feel the shoulders drop. That's real-time pocket sorting. Important safety note, the dichotomy is powerful, but not an excuse to ignore injustice. Stoics acted on things entire groups can control together. Marcus improved disaster relief. Modern activists rally voters. The pocket model scales. 1 person controls voice and vote. Group effort reshapes law. Just keep eyes on which levers you actually hold. Let's wrap with a lightning list of Pocket A superpowers. Choosing your words before hitting send tracking. Your sleep routine. Stretching 5 minutes after gaming. Saying thank you first. Double-checking facts before sharing news. Pocket B amusements to drop. Someone's driving style. Algorithm changes rain on picnic day. Viral trends ranking your outfit. Random buzzing phone, demanding attention sounds. Simple, until that phone buzzes. When it does, picture Epictetus smiling. Are you guarding the right pocket? Slide the device away, grab the steering wheel of your own thoughts, and cruise on. Your thumb yawns for sleep, but your screen whispers, just 1 more swipe. 30 seconds later, you've inhaled a dozen clips. 1 Stoic quote set to lo-fi beats. A cat in a toga. A stranger confessing 3 a.m. panic. Blink again. And Hajana's anxiety. Hashtag hits 5 billion views, and your heart rate climbs even though you haven't moved an inch. Welcome to the doom scroll trap, where Dr. Stoicism trends right beside dark stress, and the algorithm plays both sides for sport. TikTok's feed is a digital bazaar. 1 stall sells serenity. Repeat this Marcus Aurelius mantra, and your mind becomes marble, the next hawk's cortisol. Watch me recount my worst panic attack in real time. Your limbic system can't tell which stall is safe. It just sees flashing lights and ramps up adrenaline like you're sprinting from a saber tooth. Studies from MIT show a single minute of rapid-fire emotional videos lifts cortisol by 10%, heart rate by 7%, and keeps levels elevated for a full hour. Translation: you go to bed wired like the Vegas Strip, no blackjack involved. Why does the brain fall for it? Evolution. Early humans scanned bushes for both berries and bears. High novelty kept them alive. TikTok is that bush on steroids. A new bear, berry, or philosophy nugget every swipe. Each novelty hit drips dopamine, training the midbrain to chant, "Again!" It's digital priming that rewires neurons faster than any class lecture ever could. But what begins as curiosity morphs into hypervigilance. The prefrontal cortex tries to process each clip. It hits RAM overload. Anxiety fills the gap. The irony? Many users are scrolling for calm advice. Stoicism has 2 billion views this year. But for every peaceful quote someone posts, another user stitches it with, "Sure, but my rent is due and my hamster is sick." That clash spikes cognitive dissonance, cranking stress further. We're feeding ourselves both the antidote and the poison. No wonder the body can't settle. Ancient Stoics couldn't imagine 120 frames per second doom, yet they diagnosed the pattern. Constant outside noise hijacks inner judgment. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." Neuroscientists echo him with fMRI images, showing that task switching between emotional clips drains glucose from the anterior cingulate cortex, your mental brake pedal. Without brakes, thoughts skid. Anxiety loves skid marks. Humor brake. Imagine Marcus Aurelius time-traveling, scrolling TikTok in a marble bath. Clip 1. 5 hacks to level your aura. Clip 2. World ending at noon. Scientists shocked. Marcus drops the phone in bathwater and journals. Note to self. Future. Barbarians carry rectangles of insanity. So how do we dodge this digital coliseum? Cue the detachment drill. It starts by treating your feed like a buffet run by pranksters. You'd never eat mystery meat blindfolded. Stop ingesting random emotional entrees. Set a 3-swipe rule. If 2 of 3 consecutive videos raise tension, doom headline rant comparison trap back out. That micro-boundary signals the amygdala you're steering again. Cortisol drops within 90 seconds, says a 2025 Stanford microbehavior study. Next, schedule structured Stoic scrolls. 10-minute windows at defined times, lunch break and early evening, when you deliberately consume philosophy content. Tag creators who provide genuine calm, mute those who bait drama under section Stoic talk. Algorithms adapt. Soon your For You page looks more library, less ambulance siren. Baylor researchers found that users who curated feeds with a 3.1 ratio of uplifting to alarming content cut nightly wake-ups by 25%. Finally, exit the app with a grounding cue. 1 full exhale, eyes off screen, name 3 things in the room. Cognitive behavior therapists call it orientation response. Stoics called it returning to the present logos. Either label, it drags awareness. From infinity scroll back to your physical body. Remember, scrolling isn't evil. Unconscious scrolling is. Epictetus's control dichotomy applies here. Swiping choice, trunks pocket A, algorithm results, trunks pocket B. Decide the when and why, drop the rest. Because while phones buzz, true control sits quietly, waiting for you to put the rectangle down and reclaim your breath. To reclaim calm, we need the detachment drill. And once that muscle flexes, the phone's buzz sounds less like a siren and more like a distant bell you can choose to ignore or answer on your own terms. Your brain keeps a lost and found box. Every unsolved thought, did I send that email? Why was Emma quiet at lunch? What if next week's test is impossible? Gets tossed inside. At midnight, the box pops open like a jack-in-the-box and flings worries across the pillow. Tonight, we're locking that box on purpose. Welcome to the detachment drill, a 6-minute routine that drops mental weight without dropping your balance. Think of it as brushing your teeth, but for thoughts you don't need to chew on anymore. Step 1, the to-list dump, 90 seconds. Grab paper or the Notes app in airplane mode. Draw a quick line down the middle. On the left, title it Can Fix Tomorrow. On the right, Can't Fix Tonight. Rapid fire every buzzing item from your head. Homework, weird rumor, college costs, rising sea levels. No grammar, bullets only. The act of sorting lights up the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, your brain's project manager, while telling the amygdala, relax, I've filed the paperwork. Step 2, micro-plan the fixables, 60 seconds. Circle one item from Can Fix Tomorrow. Write the first action so small it could fit on a post-it. Email Ms. Lopez at 8 a.m., print lab worksheet in homeroom. Set 20-minute timer to study verbs. Tiny plans boost something called implementation intention, proven at NYU to slash procrastination 40%. Bonus: knowing there's a scheduled move turns off the mental loop that loves to shout, "Do it now or doom." Step 3. Officially release the unfixables, 60 seconds. Move to the can't fix tonight column. Put a big box around it and write, "Not my shift until sunrise." Say it out loud, yes, like a bedtime spell. Neuroscientists at Duke found verbal labeling reduces limbic activity almost as well as meditation. You're not ignoring problems, you're clocking out until they can actually be handled. That's adulting Stoic style. Step 4. Breath anchor reset, 60 seconds. Close eyes, sit tall. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold 2, exhale 6. Repeat 4 rounds. This 4-2-6 pattern tilts the autonomic nervous system from sympathetic run to parasympathetic rest. Heart rate falls, blood pressure follows. The Romans had no pulse oximeters, but Epictetus nailed the idea. First, control breath, then control mind. Step 5, pocket check, 30 seconds. Whisper the control mantra. Thoughts and actions, counts mine. Outcomes and opinions, who's not mine. Picture tossing the latter into an imaginary recycling bin. Humor helps. I picture my worries wearing neon Crocs, waddling into the bin. The sillier, the faster your brain releases them. Step 6, gratitude glue, 60 seconds. End with 3 micro thanks. Mum saved me the last slice. Sunset glow on the bus ride. My meme made Dylan snort laugh. Gratitude shifts the hippocampus into long-term memory mode, sealing tonight's mental file with positive adhesive, so the brain isn't tempted to reopen the complaint desk at 3 a.m. Total time, 6 minutes. Common potholes and quick fixes. Pothole, my list. Explodes to 80 items. Fix limit left column to 3 priority tasks. Everything else waits its turn tomorrow night. Pothole, unfixables still buzz. Fix, pair. Step 3 with a physical gesture. Snap a rubber band, close the notebook loudly, even mime tossing paper. Into a trash can. Physical movement cements psychological release. Pothole, I forget the drill. Fix, tape a mini prompt on your lamp. Dump, plan, release, breathe, check, thank. Lamp turns on, drill begins. Brain loves environmental cues. Why? It works. Sorting thoughts drains working memory overload, freeing slow-wave sleep cycles. Microplans create dopamine anticipation, replacing anxiety loops. Breath anchoring increases heart rate variability, measurable calm. Gratitude primes serotonin pathways, making it easier to fall asleep and wake happier. Real-life test. Freshman Kira tried the drill for 2 weeks before finals. Her sleep-tracking ring showed an extra 45 minutes of deep sleep per night, and daytime phone usage dropped 25%, less doom scrolling to numb stress. She's still worried about algebra, but only in algebra class, not under the covers. Final nudge, drop the weight, but don't drop the balance. You're not abandoning responsibility, you're scheduling it. The detachment drill hands tomorrow's you a lighter backpack and hands tonight's you a ticket to genuine rest. 6 minutes, 1 notebook, 0 midnight panic reels. Give it a shot and let your pillow feel like a pillow again, not a conference room for unsolved problems. Your alarm screams at 5 a.m. because an influencer said sleep is for the weak. You chug coffee like it's loyalty points, hammer through back-to-back tasks, then wonder why your brain feels like a fried router by lunch. Hustle culture tells us greatness comes only from grinding harder, longer, louder. The numbers tell a different story. Grind too long and you grind yourself into dust. Stanford researchers tracked basketball players who upped nightly sleep from 6 to 8 hours. Their sprint times improved 5% and free throw accuracy jumped 9%. Meanwhile, a Deloitte survey showed corporate supergrinders who logged 60-hour weeks reported double the burnout symptoms and 50% more sick days. Translation: exhaustion steals the very edge hustle culture promises. Ancient Stoics clocked this centuries before fitness trackers. Seneca wrote, The mind must have some time off, or it will break. Marcus Aurelius scheduled midday walks between war councils. Even Epictetus, with no property and a bum leg, insisted students rest to guard the ruling center. They knew balance isn't lazy, it's leverage. Neuroscience backs them up. During deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system flushes waste. Proteins the way janitors mop a school hallway. Skip that flush, and neuronal traffic jams slow reaction speed and memory by up to 40%. Ever read the same paragraph 5 times? That's sleep debt charging interest. Cortisol, your stress hormone, also spikes under constant hustle. University of Chicago studies show people who sleep under 6 hours crank out 30% more cortisol the next day, which tanks immune cells and plummets creativity scores. That brainstorm meeting feels more like brain fog because your body thinks it's running from wolves. Athletes get it. Olympic weightlifters cycle heavy and light training days or risk injury. Musicians get it. No one practices piano scales 8 hours straight without sounding like a cat on the keys. Yet students and office warriors treat rest like a guilty pleasure instead of performance fuel. Why the double standard? The myth whispers that downtime equals falling behind. But balance isn't neutral time, it's active repair. Picture your phone at 2% battery. Would you brag you kept scrolling instead of plugging in? Of course not. You'd run for a charger. Rest is the human charger. Let's spotlight some stats. NASA pilot study. 26-minute cockpit naps boosted alertness 54% and performance 34%. Google internal report. Teams who took focus breaks every 90 minutes shipped code with 28% fewer bugs. Harvard Med meta-analysis. Students who practiced weekly relaxation techniques scored an average 12 points higher on final exams. Fanchamo, your muscles vote for naps. Growth hormone surges during slow-wave sleep, repairing micro-tears from workouts. Skip rest, and those tears stay torn, delaying gains. One sports physiologist joked, "You don't grow in the gym, you grow in bed." So, okay, rest matters. Now let's make it a weapon. Weaponizing rest. The Stoic Sport Hybrid Plan 90-minute blocks. Your brain cycles from peak focus to dip roughly every 90 minutes. Work hard for 1 block, then unplug for 10. Walk, stretch, stare at clouds, whatever. Parks your prefrontal cortex. That mini reboot restores neurotransmitters so block 2 feels like block 1, not zombie mode. Active recovery evenings after school or work. Insert 30 minutes of different energy. Read fiction if your day is STEM. Shoot hoops if you sit all day. Switching activity patterns calms overstimulated neural pathways while keeping circulation high. Non-negotiable sleep window. Choose a 7-hour minimum block and defend it like it's a VIP concert ticket. Screen dimmer on, notifications off, detachment drill engaged. Consistency trains circadian rhythms faster than melatonin. Weekly Sabbath light. Dedicate half a day to 0 goals except rest and play. Marcus spent spare time studying philosophy. You might draw, garden, or watch comedies. The point is to remind your brain life isn't only checklists. Quarterly deload athletes lower training volume every few months. You can too. Pick 1 school week or project cycle to cut optional tasks by 30%. History shows Roman commanders rotated legions for rest. Your neurons deserve furlough, not furlough fatigue. But won't competitors out-hustle me? Only until they crash. Look at pro chess grandmasters. They follow strict sleep and exercise plans because cognitive endurance wins tournaments. Their average heart rate spikes to 120 BPM during matches, equivalent to light jogging, yet they preserve mental stamina by cycling rest phases between games. Humor break. Imagine a gladiator bragging, "I pulled an all-nighter sharpening my sword." Next day he shows up droopy-eyed and the crowd bets on the well-rested rookie. Don't be droopy, gladiator. How to track balance RPE score. Rate perceived energy each morning 110. Below 6 2 days in a row? Insert extra recovery. Sleep log. Use phone sensors or old-school grid. 7-night average under 7 hours equals red flag. Mood pulse. 1-word check-in at lunch. Calm, edgy, jazzed. If edgy dominates the week, reduce workload incrementally. Balance doesn't mean equal hours of work and rest. It means enough recovery to match your goals without torching health. Picture a seesaw. Hustle weighs plenty, but rest is the counterweight that keeps the plank level. Drop rest and the board slams down, flinging you into the sandpit of burnout. So, give yourself permission, no mandate, to schedule rest the way you schedule deadlines. Use Marcus Aurelius's logic. What stands in the way becomes the way. Fatigue stands in your way. Balanced rest becomes the better way. We've busted the hustle myth, flaunted the data, and borrowed tactics from emperors, athletes, and algorithms. Your next move: pick one rest weapon, 90-minute block, sleep window, Sabbath light, and deploy it tonight. Because the scoreboard that matters isn't likes or labor hours, it's sustained clarity, health, and joy. Okay, rest matters. Now, let's make it a weapon. Your brain is a sword, and swords go dull when they never leave the battlefield. Sleep isn't a Netflix binge you earn after work. It's the nightly forge where steel regains its edge. Picture a Roman legionary. All day he marches, drills, and blocks spears. At dusk he doesn't keep swinging to prove dedication. He oils the blade, wraps it, and posts a guard. That guard is sleep. Skip the guard and tomorrow's battle ends fast and not in his favor. Marcus Aurelius told his soldiers the mind works the same way. Sharpen at sunrise, sheathe at sundown. Repeat. Modern neuroscience agrees. Every hour you're awake, metabolic grime clogs neural circuits. Deep sleep deploys microglial janitors to scrub the gunk, restoring reaction time and willpower like fresh whetstone on steel. Yet hustle culture sells the fantasy that sleeping is slacking. A 2024 survey showed 42% of teens bragging they can power through on 5 hours. The same group scored 15% lower on memory tests and needed 30% more caffeine the next morning. That's like a soldier bragging he skipped the armory, then wondering why his sword bends in combat. Stoics would call the boast ignorance, not grit. Let's swap labels. From sleep as luxury to sleep as tactical duty. Duties aren't optional. Soldiers clean weapons, athletes cool down, pilots run pre-flight checks. You, future mind warrior, schedule sleep. 7+ hours is your maintenance window, non-negotiable. Hit that quota, and daytime tasks feel 20% easier, says a Harvard meta-study. Skip it, and the amygdala fires false alarms, tricking you into snacking, snapping, and scrolling. Need a practical image? Think of each hour of lost sleep as removing one screw from a skateboard. Remove 2 or 3 and you can still wobble forward. Remove 5 and the wheels pop off mid-hill. No skater calls screw tightening lazy. They call it staying alive. How to honor the duty. Establish lights out command. Same minute plus 15 every night, even weekends. Regularity trains melatonin like a well-drilled regiment. Set a digital sundown. Screens off 1 hour prior. Blue. Light blocks melatonin. Doom scrolls block peace. Use that hour to journal, stretch, or mock polish your sword, a pen, guitar, or literal kitchen knife carefully. Deploy a wind-down ritual. Lukewarm shower, chamomile, or 478. Breathing. Ritual cues the hypothalamus. Stand down, troops. Studies show rituals drop heart rate 10% faster than unstructured flopping. Guard the perimeter. Room cool, dark, and phone parked out of arm's reach. A soldier wouldn't sleep on a battlefield without walls. Your bedroom needs sensory walls too. Record the score. Each morning jot sleep hours and how sharp you feel, 110. Patterns emerge, discipline grows. Humor break. Imagine Epictetus wearing a whoop strap, bragging to students, "My recovery score is 93. They'd laugh, then dozing. Gladiators would request his bedtime tea recipe, but we still live on Earth where deadlines sneak past curfew. Missed your quota? Pay it back with a 90-minute nap cycle before 3 p.m. That's the body's built-in second forge. NASA pilots who grabbed one such nap regained 34% faster reaction times. Even a 20-minute combat nap reloads alertness. Bullets without stealing night sleep ammunition. Reframing sleep as duty also dissolves guilt. You're not spoiling yourself by turning in early. You're sharpening. You're not weak for needing rest. You're responsible for taking it. Stoic discipline isn't masochism. It's intelligent energy management. Seneca warned that a bow kept perpetually strung will snap. Unstring your bow nightly, and its arrows fly true when dawn calls. Parents, teachers, bosses might still chant, "Rise and grind, smile and nod, then defend your maintenance window like castle gates." Productivity isn't measured by hours eyes are open, but by clarity when they are. Sleep fuels clarity. Clarity strikes true. Weapon loaded, but we still have a noisy enemy, overthinking. Your brain can morph a single what-if into a summer blockbuster disaster flick in 10 seconds flat. Want to shut down the projector? Ask one question. Is this thought a problem to solve or a story to stop? That's it. 8 words. Big hammer. Stoic teachers hinted at it. Cognitive behavioral therapists now print it on office posters. When a worry pops up, did I bomb that quiz? Why didn't Jordan text back? Pause and tag it. Problem to solve. If there's an action within reach, write it down or do it. Recheck. My homework answers. Ask Jordan tomorrow. Action squeezes worry like air out of a balloon. The prefrontal cortex lights up. The amygdala powers down. Story to stop? If no action exists. What if I never get into college? Label it fiction. Your brain is running fan fiction about future you. Say, stop, exhale, and focus on the present room. Studies at Yale show that simply naming a thought as story cuts limbic activity by 40%. Why does the question work? It forces a fork in the mental road. Overthinking survives in grey fog. Clarity burns the fog away. Neuroscientists call this cognitive gatekeeping, deciding where traffic flows. The gate opens for real tasks, closes for looping nonsense. Ancient. Proof? Epictetus phrased it, "Does it depend on me?" Same fork, older wording. Marcus asked, "Is this within my reason's reach, or must I leave it to the gods?" When he hit gods, he turned the thought off like a dripping faucet. Try a 30-second demo. Thought, everyone will laugh at my presentation. Question, problem or story? Check, can you control everyone? Nope, story, stop. Redirect, practice slides for 5 minutes, action. Or stretch, present focus. Notice the swirl slows. Add humor for sticky worries. Picture the useless story wearing clown shoes. Hard to fear a clown shoe thought. Make the question a sticky note on your laptop. Set a phone wallpaper. When night spirals start, whisper it like a secret password. Brain scans show that repeating a concise mantra engages Broca's area, crowding out rumination space. Common hiccup. But what if the same thought keeps coming back? Answer with the rule of 3. Ask the question 3 times. If it's story each time, you owe it 0 more airtime. Cue a quick sensory reset. Splash cool water, focus on foot pressure, or count ceiling dots. Anything that yanks attention to now. Parents, coaches, and memes may still equate non-stop thinking with genius. Reality check. Geniuses schedule idle mind wanders called incubation, then snap back with clarity. The kill switch question guards that boundary, ready for field use. Tonight, when the lights click off and the brain gremlins clock in, fire the question. If an answer spawns action, jot it under tomorrow's to-do and close the notebook. If it's story, label it, laugh, breathe out. Silence secured, time to seal the gates with gratitude. Your brain owns a secret vault. Each day it tosses happy moments inside, then forgets the code by bedtime. We're about to lock those gems in place with 3 simple lines. Grab a notebook, title the page Small Wins. No essays, no poetry, just bullets anyone could read in the dark. I got to school before the bell. The cafeteria actually had my favorite fries. Grandma text laughed at my joke. That's it. 3 micro victories. Finished? Good. You've just pulled a gratitude nightlock. Why? Does this tiny ritual hit like a mood upgrade? Neuroscientists at UC Davis scanned volunteers who wrote nightly thanks. In 2 weeks, their ventral striatum, the brain's reward hub, fired brighter even while resting. Extra dopamine, lower cortisol, deeper sleep. Think of gratitude as a free chemical spa. The Stoics did it first. Marcus Aurelius listed, simple. Bread, clear water, quiet mind, riches enough. Seneca called it counting treasures already on the shelf. They knew joy fades unless you spotlight it. Modern research echoes them. Students who log 3 good things drop anxiety scores by 1/3 and report waking up lighter, even during test season. Tips for rock-solid wins: go tiny. A high five, a sunny patch on the sidewalk, your dog. Choosing your lap. Small counts, use verbs. Helped and shared, finished beat was nice. Action words imprint memory. Add one feeling. Fries tasted like victory. Emojis allowed. Humor helps. My list once read, didn't trip over charger, graceful. Found extra fry at the bag's bottom, jackpot. Little brother. Laughed milk through nose, comedy points. Every bullet tells your hippocampus, store this, it matters. Overnight, the brain replays happy clips instead of cringe bloopers. People who journal wins fall asleep 9 minutes faster on average. 9 minutes may sound small, but that's 54 extra hours of sleep per year, almost an extra weekend. And the best part? Wins stack. After a month, your brain starts spotting fresh positives during the day, hunting content for the nightly. You train your own internal cameraman to zoom on good scenes. Common trip-ups. Nothing good happened today. Check again. Breathing counts. Socks that match count. Pen that didn't vanish counts. Too tired to write. Voice memo them. Whispering gratitude still lights the ventral striatum. It feels cheesy. So does smiling in photos, yet we do it. Cheese fuels neurons. By now your mental vault is closed, dopamine gently rising, heart rate easing. But even gratitude crumbles if we cling to tomorrow's script. You can't fall asleep because you're busy signing secret contracts with tomorrow. In the morning, I'll wake up cheerful, ace the quiz, and everyone will like my new haircut. Your brain writes these clauses in glowing ink, stamps them. Guaranteed, then panics. What if the universe forgets to sign? Expectation feels like safety, but it's really a mental IOU you can't enforce. Stoic teacher Epictetus warned, events happen as they will, not as we hope. Modern neuroscience backs him. When researchers at the University of Zurich wired volunteers to EEG caps and asked them to imagine a perfect next day, brain scans showed the anticipation network lighting up like a carnival. Cortisol spiked 18%, heart rates climbed, and slow-wave sleep shrank. Classic insomnia fuel. The mind treats rigid plans like promises. Any hint of uncertainty triggers an internal debt collector called anxiety. Think of expectations as soap bubbles, fun to blow, gorgeous in sunlight, but grip too tight and pop, soapy mess everywhere. Yet we clutch them at bedtime. Dad must answer my college question exactly how I want. The teacher must grade fairly. The weather must behave for Friday's game. Each must is another bubble circling the dark room, waiting to burst loud enough to jolt you awake. Enter the Stoic antidote, voluntary surrender. Not surrender like waving a white flag and doing nothing, but like handing tomorrow's steering wheel to reality while you buckle in. The Romans called it amor fati, love of fate. Modern psychologists call it acceptance. Both mean deleting the silent word must from your mental contracts and replacing it with could. Try a 2-minute bedtime exercise called contract. Shredder, spot a must. The quiz must be easy, swap with could. The quiz could be easy or hard. Add a readiness line. Either way, I'll use what I know and learn from what I don't. Exhale slowly while picturing the paper contract turning to confetti. MRI studies show that acceptance phrases calm the anterior insula, the brain's uncertainty alarm, faster than positive affirmations. You're not lying to yourself. You're widening the lane of acceptable outcomes, giving the nervous system breathing room. Humor break. Imagine Marcus Aurelius applying for a part-time barista job. He writes in his journal, "They could hire me or they could not. Either way, I still possess reason and can foam milk with dignity." Marcus snoozes like a baby that night. Meanwhile, we lose sleep over whether our selfie hit 200 likes. Important note, surrender isn't slacking. You still study, still set alarms, still show up. You just stop chaining happiness to a single future scenario. Athletes call this process focus, master the moves, accept the scoreboard. NBA players who adopt process focus shoot better under pressure because adrenaline doesn't hijack fine motor skills when the brain isn't screaming, "We must win, ready for data." A 2025 meta-analysis of 11 acceptance-based sleep trials found participants fell asleep 12 minutes faster and woke up 40% fewer times than control groups practicing standard relaxation. The brain, free from enforcing unpaid contracts, glides into deeper REM. Let's wrap it into tonight's routine. Before lights out, list 3 coulds. Example: the bus could be late. Coach could change the lineup. My friend could disagree with my playlist. Whisper: I'll adapt after each. Smile, seriously. Micro-smiles release calming neuropeptides. Release control and something magical happens next. The mind, no longer guarding fragile bubbles, finally puts down its spear and drifts into honest rest, leaving you fresh, flexible, and ready for whatever tomorrow does sign. Your body has 2 gears. Go and chill. Go chases soccer balls and chemistry deadlines. Chill fixes muscle tears, files memories, and flips the sleep switch. Trouble is, modern life parks us in go all evening. Bright lights, buzzing phones, speed scroll news. To win back chill, we need a nervous system reset. Dim the sun that isn't there. Your brain reads light like a story. Bright means noon, dim means moon. Overhead LEDs blast twice the light the full moon ever managed. 1 hour before bed, swap ceiling lights for a desk lamp or tiny string lights. Harvard researchers found that 50 lux or less lets melatonin climb within 20 minutes, while normal room lighting delays it by 90. In everyday words, glow sticks good, stadium lights bad. Pretend you're camping with Marcus Aurelius. He had torches, not track. Lighting shut the tech siren. Screens flash blue wavelength that screams day. Plus every ping risks an emotional jolt. Set a phone curfew. Park it face down across the room, at least 30 minutes before lights out. Worried you'll miss an emergency? Turn on Do Not Disturb and allow calls from favorites only. A study at Baylor showed students who relocated phones gained 26 minutes more sleep and woke up happier. No extra pillows required. Breathe like a sleepy sea turtle. Long exhale breathing taps the vagus nerve, the body's chill switch. Try 4, 7 to 8. Inhale through your nose 4 counts, hold 7. Whisper, exhale 8. 3 rounds slow heart rate, almost as much as a light jog cool down. Picture exhaling steam out of a teapot. Bonus sound effects. Welcome, progressive flop and drop. Tighten. Your toes for 5 seconds, release. Calves next, then thighs up the body. This tells muscle sensors mission complete. University of Sydney trials show progressive relaxation drops, core temperature 0.5 degrees C, just enough for deeper, slow-wave sleep. Cool cave, warm toes. Keep the room around 65 degree, 18 degree. If that feels Arctic, pull on socks. Warm feet widen blood. Vessels helping core heat escape. Roman soldiers actually slept with wool foot wraps under thin blankets. Ancient HVAC. Humor break. Imagine Epictetus shouting, "Alexa, dim torches to 20 lux." Alexa replies with stoic calm, "Torch brightness." Set, run this reset as a checklist. Lights low, amber bulbs on. Phone docked away. 3 rounds 4, 7, 8 breathing. Toe to forehead muscle flop. Blanket burrito at 65 degrees Celsius. Total time, 5 minutes, less than an episode intro. Sensors now show parasympathetic rise. Heartbeat slower, digestion resumes. Cortisol drifts down river. Body relaxed, mind still flickering. Enter stoic stillness. Your thumb twitches toward the screen. But what if the most powerful move tonight is to do absolutely nothing on purpose? True stillness isn't boredom, it's brain maintenance. Here's the fastest gateway. 60-second stoic sit. Plant both feet on the floor. Close eyes. Inhale through your nose to the silent count of 4. Feel ribs expand like umbrella ribs opening. Hold 1 beat, then let air slide out for 6 counts, as if you're fogging a glass slowly. Notice 1 sound in the room, maybe the fridge hum or distant traffic. Label it present, then return to breath. Repeat until 60 seconds pass. Congratulations, you just meditated like Marcus in a war tent. Why does this matter? MRI scans from the University of Wisconsin show even brief breath focus quiets the default mode network, the brain's idle gossip channel, by 20%. With less internal chatter, The prefrontal cortex lights up, boosting decision power. Translation: 1 silent minute now equals clearer choices tomorrow. Deliberate solitude differs from idle scrolling, the way a chef's knife differs from a butter knife. One is intentional, the other just smears time. When you step onto the porch without earbuds, you choose sensory input instead of letting algorithms choose for you. Birds chirp, air cools, shoulders drop. A 2023 Japanese study found teens who took 10-minute solo walks reported 17% lower anxiety than peers who scrolled indoors. Nature optional, phone detachment required. Stillness isn't about emptying the mind, it's about seating the mind in a single chair. Thoughts will knock, let them pass like background extras. If one refuses to leave, ask the kill switch question. Problem to solve or story to stop? Either act on it or escort it out. Add micro stillness bursts during the day. Waiting for the kettle? 3 silent breaths. Elevator ride? Pocket phone, scan posture. Between classes? Stand tall, feel shoes anchor to ground. These pockets. Teach the nervous system that calm isn't a rare vacation spot. It's home base. Humor break. Imagine Seneca at a modern coffee shop, watching patrons doom scroll. He'd sip his latte and whisper, "You paid $5 to ignore the flavor?" Sip mindfully. Stoic approved. Rule of thumb: if the activity plugs you deeper into yourself, it's stillness. If it yanks you outward for random dopamine sprinkles, it's noise. Noise isn't evil, but it shouldn't own your evenings. Finish tonight with a 2-minute candle gaze, or lamp if fire alarms object. Stare at the flame, note its sway, feel breath mirror the flicker. When thoughts wander, smile, return to light. Studies show focused visual anchors lower pulse faster than closed-eye methods for some brains. Pick your flavor. Stillness sharpens clarity, which the day will try to steal back at dawn. Your eyes crack open, and the phone beside your pillow is already yelping for attention like a puppy with symbols. Don't grab it. You've got 90 golden seconds to choose who commands the morning, your purpose or the algorithm. 2000. Years ago, Marcus Aurelius did a dawn pep talk that went something like this: get up. You were born to do the work of a human being. People might be selfish today, fine, you still get to be just, kind and steady. He recited it before his sandals hit the floor, giving his brain a mission before Rome's chaos barged in. We're stealing his script with a modern twist. Step 1. Claim the first breath. As soon as you notice you're awake, take one big inhale through the nose, slow exhale through the mouth. Whisper, "I'm here." Stanford labs show a single conscious breath lowers morning cortisol enough to steady heart rate. Instant calm, before scrolling storms. Step 2. Light beats likes. Swing your feet down and walk to a window. Sunrise, even cloudy, gives 50 times more blue sky luminance than indoor bulbs and resets your body clock. 2 minutes of natural light spikes serotonin and tells melatonin nap time's over. Bring your phone only if you're using it as a flashlight. Step 3. Marcus Minute. While soaking that light, speak a 15-second purpose line. Today, I will learn, help and stay kind when it gets messy. Customize it. Gamers, athletes, mathletes, doesn't matter. Purpose pumps dopamine that outcompetes the check notifications urge. Neuroscientists call it value-based priming. Stoics called it directing the ruling center. Step 4. Tiny victory reps. Make the bed or chug a glass of water. One easy win flips the brain's progress switch, raising motivation up to 14% in behavior tracking studies. Marcus wrote, "Well begun is half the battle. Your grandma said the same, both were right." Step 5. Phone parole. Now you can greet the buzzing rectangle, but under parole rules. Unlock only for essentials, calendar, alarm off, weather. Social feeds and email wait 15 minutes. Think of dopamine like breakfast sugar. A little later fuels action too. Early crashes you by homeroom. Step 6. Top 3 compass. Write the 3 tasks that would make the day a win. Not 8, not 30, 3. Prioritizing teaches the prefrontal cortex to filter noise. Marcus kept a wax tablet. You've got sticky notes. Same magic. Quick humor hack. If the phone howls before its parole, picture it wearing a toddler onesie yelling, "Like me." Hard to obey a onesie. Run that 6-step ritual for 7 mornings. Students in a 2024 Baylor pilot who followed a similar plan cut their first period brain fog in half and reported 20% fewer afternoon crashes. Purpose beats autopilot because you start steering before the info tsunami hits. A checklist to post on the nightstand. Breath. I'm here. Window. Light 2 minutes, purpose line 1 tiny win, phone parole 15-minute wait. Top 3 tasks, total cost. About 5 minutes, $0, endless clarity, still tempted to snooze? Remember Marcus faced plagues, invasions, and Senate drama, but refused the snooze demon. If an emperor could rise on cue, we can too, especially when the hardest early task is shoving a phone across the room, purpose set. But what about the grind gap between dawn and dusk? Sprinters don't run marathons between races, and chess grandmasters don't play blitz while waiting for their tournament round. They slice the day into surges and pit stops, work hard, step away, repeat. That rhythm is the hidden engine of elite performance, and you can bolt it onto homework, coding, or sax solo practice starting today. Stanford researchers strapped brain oxygen sensors on students tackling logic puzzles. At the 25-minute mark, focus began sliding and error rates ticked up. But a 5-minute stroll reset the signal to full power. Cycle, stroll, repeat, and cognitive stamina doubled. Think Pomodoro, but supercharged Pomodoro ++. Here's the version that pros use. Deep focus burst, 42 minutes. Silence notifications, full screen the task, tell roommates radio silence. 42 beats, 25 for most brains. Long enough for flow, short enough to dodge burnout. Olympic fencers do similar. Brutal 40-minute drills, then gear off. Micro withdrawal, 8 minutes. Leave the chair, stretch, gaze out a window, refill water. No scrolling, screens hijack dopamine. Muscles move, blood shifts. The prefrontal cortex clears lactic acid just like legs after sprints. Checkpoint breath, 30 seconds. Before diving back, close eyes and breathe 4-2-6. Ask, one priority still true? If yes, re-enter. If no, adjust. Tiny reflection saves you from sprinting the wrong direction. Repeat 3 cycles, then slot a macro break, 30 minutes lunch, quick walk, or low brain chore. Neuroscientists call this oscillation ultradian rhythm alignment. Stoics simply said, the bow strung too tight will snap. Marcus Aurelius would write a few lines, then stroll his palace courtyard before the next debate. Try it on homework tonight. 6 Kairos to 6:42, math problems. 6:42 to 6:50, hallway stretch, refill bottle. 6:50 to 7:32, history outline. 7:32 to 7:40, jumping jacks or pet the dog. 7:40 to 8:22, science flashcards. 8:22 onward, dinner macro break. Sounds rigid, but freedom hides inside structure. When the timer rings, you earn rest guilt-free, no half-working while texting. Athletes love it because hormone patterns obey it. Dopamine peaks during focus, serotonin stabilizes in micro breaks. Hack both, and motivation self-recharges. Humor break. Imagine Seneca lecturing students with a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. When it dings, young Romans, drop your scrolls and do calf stretches. Common hurdles. I lose track of time. Use phone alarms. Airplane mode still allows timers, or a cheap analog timer that ticks, white noise bonus. Breaks turn into black holes. Stand, don't sit. Physical posture reminds you it's a pit stop, not a vacation. What if flow? Hits minute 42, ride to 50, max 60, then break. Studies show quality slopes after an hour no matter how epic the groove feels. After a week, note energy graphs. Many people report smoother afternoons, fewer snack cravings, and faster homework finish times because they stop sanding their focus with constant micro-distractions. Advanced tweak, pair cycles with subject rotation. Math, then art, then language. Switching domains after each burst refreshes brain regions like swapping muscle groups on leg day. Remember, effort without rhythm is noise. Stoic charioteers raced in bursts, then cooled horses, same biology, different century. You're not being soft by resting, you're sharpening the blade between chops. Set your first 42-minute timer tonight. When it dings, stand tall, breathe, and smile at how quickly clarity rebounds. Rhythm nailed. Now fortify mood with the reframe reflex. Your brain can turn a stubbed toe into the end of days faster than you can say ouch. Before the drama balloon lifts off, pop it with the reframe reflex, the 60-second move that changes why me into what's this teaching me. Step 1, slam the pause button, 5 seconds. Mutter freeze or clap once. That jolt stops the amygdala's panic sprint and buys a mental breath. Seneca called it intercepting the first impulse. Neuroscientists call it a pattern interrupt. Step 2, name the hit, 10 seconds. Say exactly what happened in one short line, printer jammed on page 2. No adjectives, no blame. MRI scans show concrete labeling drags activity out of the emotion center into the logical prefrontal cortex, like switching the movie from 3D horror to black and white documentary. Step 3, flip the lens, 15 seconds. Ask the Stoic power question. If a wise teacher set this up as a lesson, what would it be? Maybe it's patience drills, backup plan practice, or reminder to print early. Write a 5-word headline, test of timing skills. Congratulations, setback is now study note. Dopamine pulses because your brain loves puzzles more than problems. Step to micro action, 20 seconds. Do one tiny fix that proves the lesson. Send the doc to another printer, text the teacher a heads up, or photograph the jammed pages. UCLA studies show action within 20 seconds cements the reframe, preventing rumination relapse. Step 5, archive the clip, 10 seconds. Open your Notes app, jot the headline under a folder called Lessons Library. Reviewing these clips later builds a pattern bank of resilience, your personal Stoic highlight reel. Athletes call this game film. Philosophers called it wisdom. Real-time example. Hit, group partner ghosted. Lesson, communication. Redundancy drill. Action, email backup plan to the teacher. Brain chemistry shifts from cortisol spike to dopamine chase in under a minute. Why it works. Framing setbacks as curriculum activates the brain's reward circuitry instead of its threat circuitry. Psychologists dub it cognitive reappraisal. Stoics just said, turn obstacle into path. Repeated use rewires default reactions. Frustration becomes curiosity. Panic becomes progress. Quick humor. Hack. Imagine Marcus Aurelius squinting at your jammed printer, shrugging and saying, "Ah, another scroll monster. Slay it, learner." Hard to stay mad after that visual. Use the reframe reflex 3 times today. Traffic delay, spilled drink, pop quiz. By bedtime, you'll have a mini catalogue of victories disguised as hassles. Yet some storms aren't mental, they're chemical. Your sleep hormones can't read philosophy quotes if they're busy dodging espresso shots and phone glare. Fix the biology first, and the Stoic wisdom starts to stick. Caffeine, the stealth saboteur. A single latte at 4 p.m. can leave 1/4 of the caffeine still spinning in your bloodstream at midnight. That lingering buzz blocks adenosine, the brain's time for bed chemical, like a bouncer who never clocks out. Cut coffee and energy drinks 8 hours before bedtime. Need afternoon pep. Trade for cold water plus 30 jumping jacks. The movement wakes you without stealing future Z's late-night alcohol. The fake friend. Yes, a late cider makes eyelids heavy, but once the buzz fades, your sympathetic nervous system rebounds, heart rate climbs, and REM sleep shatters. Results: groggy AM, cranky mood, extra cravings. Limit booze to dinner hours or skip entirely on school nights. Stoic tip: swap nightcaps for a warm mug of tart cherry juice. Science shows it nudges melatonin up by 15%. Blue light, the sun. Imposter phones, tablets, and LED bulbs shoot high-energy light straight into your retinas, telling the suprachiasmatic nucleus, daytime. Even 15 minutes delays melatonin up to 90 minutes. 1 hour before bed, flip to amber bulbs, or candle-style lamps. If screens are non-negotiable, slap on blue shift filters or glasses that block 90% of shortwave light. But remember, doom scroll content still wakes the brain, even through orange lenses. Evening fuel timing. Late heavy snacks force the gut to clock overtime, elevating core temperature, the opposite of what slow-wave sleep loves. Close the kitchen 2 hours before lights out. If hunger yells, nibble a banana or yogurt. Low fiber, low fat, high in sleep-friendly tryptophan. Body clock nudges. Get at least 10 minutes of real morning sunlight. It locks your circadian rhythm so melatonin surges on schedule 14 hours later. Pair that with a cooler bedroom, about 65 degrees and 18 degrees C, so core heat can fall like a signal flag. Day is done. Stack the hacks. Last caffeine at 2 p.m. Last alcoholic sip with dinner. Screens dimmed or down 1 hour pre-bed. Kitchen closed 2 hours pre-bed. Morning light 10 minutes. Bedroom cool at night. Run this biology checklist for 1 week and note the shift. Most people report falling asleep 15 minutes faster and waking up without the snooze tango. Marcus Aurelius managed an empire with oil lamps and watered wine. You can manage a balanced circadian rhythm with a few tap-offs and toggles. Biology aligned, mindset armed. Let's audit the bedroom battlefield. Marcus Aurelius ran a continent from a canvas tent, yet he guarded one rule. When the sun dipped, his war room turned into a sleep cave, dark, cool, and free of gossiping messengers. Your bedroom can be the same emperor's tent, minus the marching. Legions. Build it right and your brain will salute, powering down without a fight. Start with darkness that means business. Even a nightlight beam sneaking through eyelids can slice melatonin in half. Tape blackout curtains tight to the frame. If street lamps still slip through, add a soft eye mask. Test by holding a hand 1 foot from your face. If you can see fingers, the tent still leaks. Next, drop the temperature. Studies show the body needs to fall about 2 degrees to hit deep sleep. Set the thermostat to 65 degrees or crack a window. If cold feet bug you, wear socks. Roman soldiers wrapped wool around toes to stay toasty while snoring under frosty stars. Silence is golden, but if your house howls, swap silence for steady hush. A small fan or white noise app masks random spikes, like barking dogs or midnight dish clatter. Think of it as posting a guard who hums lullabies and blocks enemy sounds. Kick tech to the curb. Every glowing gadget drags a carnival into the tent. Place phone and tablet on a shelf across the room, face down. Need an alarm? Buy a $5 analog clock. The tick-tock reminds you that nights were once quiet enough to hear seconds slip by. Clear ground clutter. Shoes, homework piles, and cables are tripping hazards for half-awake bathroom runs and visual noise for the brain. The Emperor's scouts kept pathways open. You should too. 1 minute of tidying before lights out tells the mind, camp secure. Add a single soothing scent, lavender sachet or cedar chips. Smell travels directly to the amygdala. Gentle aromas cue safety faster than logic ever could. No heavy candles. Though open flames and sleep are sworn enemies. Finally, designate your bed for 2 actions only: sleep and calm reading. No gaming, no cramming formulas, no binge watching. You're training your brain like a loyal dog. Bed equals rest. Mix tasks and the dog gets confused, barking when you ask it to nap. Run this Emperor's tent checklist each night. Curtains sealed. Mask ready. Room set to 65 degree feu. White noise humming. Phone exiled. Analog clock promoted. Floor cleared. Path safe. Lavender or cedar deployed. Bed reserved for rest tinker until each line feels automatic. After a week, you'll notice quicker knockouts, fewer midnight wake-ups, and mornings where your body feels like it upgraded overnight armor. Even perfect tents fail if the general won't stand down. The campfires sputtered under sleet, and enemy torches flickered on every ridge. Roman scouts reported the barbarians would storm the palisade before dawn. Inside his canvas command tent, Emperor Marcus Aurelius listened, nodded, and rolled up. His wax tablet for the night. Officers begged for one more strategy meeting. Marcus shook his head. The men are ready. The defenses are set. Worry will not thicken the walls. Then he blew out the lamp, stretched onto a straw mattress and fell asleep while the whole frontier quivered. How could the ruler of an empire switch off under siege? He practiced extreme control over what was his, planning, orders, example, and extreme release over what wasn't. Weather, rival minds, tomorrow's unknown. Neuroscientists call this locus of control focus. When you lock energy onto the controllable, the prefrontal cortex hums. When you cling to what's out of reach, the limbic system floods you with adrenaline. Marcus knew the chemistry centuries before fMRI. Jot orders, steady breath, surrender the rest, sleep. Picture that scene the next time you lie awake scripting 10 different what-if disasters. Your classroom isn't surrounded by spear throwers, but your brain treats pop quizzes and friend drama the same way. Alarm blaring for things already set in motion. Borrow the emperor's bedtime protocol. First, inventory the controllable. Write 3 items you actually govern before lights out. How kindly you'll speak, the effort you'll bring to practice, the time you'll start studying. Second, name. 1 looming factor you don't command. Teacher mood, bus delay, plot twists in group chat, and say aloud, outside my wall. Sound cheesy, it works. Verbal labeling shifts worry from amygdala to reasoning centers, just like Marcus's ink. Did now add a sensory anchor. Marcus counted slow breaths until 10, matching inhale to the soft rap of sleet on canvas. You can pair breathing with a fan's hum or a heartbeat felt in your fingertips. Exhale, feel shoulders drop, and imagine rolling the weight off your chest onto the ground like a spare shield. Hack, visualize a quick scene of the legion encircled, Marcus snoring peacefully. If an emperor can nap under arrows, you can ease under a duvet. Modern data backs the method. A 2025 Oxford trial taught students a control release script, similar to Marcus's. Within 2 weeks, average sleep latency shrank by 12 minutes and morning stress cortisol fell 18%. Grades nudged upward, but the big win was mood resilience. Setbacks felt like speed bumps, not sinkholes. Humor helps cement the lesson. Pretend every uncontrollable worry is a goat loose in camp. Marcus wouldn't chase goats before bed. He'd let guards handle it and keep snoozing. When a thought bleats, what if my presentation glitches in, say, goat spotted, not my midnight job, and picture it trotting outside the palisade. Letting go isn't passive. It's disciplined triage. You free up mental soldiers for battles that actually arrive. You wake with clearer judgment because your decision cortex wasn't running wind sprints all night. And when dawn comes, as it did for Marcus, you act with fresh strength instead of stale fear. Still scared? Time for nightly pre-mortem. Your brain is a night shift wizard that keeps working after you clock out. Give it the right spell before lights out, and it will spend the dark hours solving puzzles you haven't even met yet. Here's the trick. Imagine the problems now, while they're still house cats, not jungle lions. It sounds backward, but it works like magic and math put together. Take out a scrap of paper, yes, paper, so the glow of a phone doesn't fry your sleepy hormones. Write tomorrow's date at the top. Under it, draw 3 short dashes. Next to each dash, name 1 thing that could go wrong after sunrise. Keep it simple and real. The bus might be late, the quiz might have trick questions, the soccer field might feel like quicksand. Don't add drama, just name the bumps. Now pick the first bump and run a quick "then I will" in sentence. If the bus comes late, then I will review vocab cards while I wait. If the quiz looks tricky, then I will breathe twice and scan every question before I start. If the field is mud, then I will plant my cleats and play smarter passes. Repeat for bumps 2 and 3, that's all. 3 little if-then bridges between now and tomorrow. Close the notebook, set it by your pillow and turn off the light. While you sleep, your brain's hippocampus and prefrontal cortex chat like night owl engineers. They take your if-thens, spin mental simulations, and file motor maps so you can act faster when the bumps pop up for real. MRI scans from the University of Helsinki show that people who list likely obstacles before bed activate problem-solving circuits during REM. Their brains rehearse cool responses the way a track star pictures the starting gun. The Stoics did this long before sleep labs. Seneca pictured lost fortunes. Marcus saw hostile crowds. Epictetus imagined a snapped sandal. Strap on a long walk. They called it negative visualization. But don't let the word negative scare you. They were priming the mind, not poisoning it. When dawn arrived and real trouble matched last night's rehearsal, they moved like chess players who had already seen the board. Modern athletes copy the move. A downhill skier lies in bed and runs tomorrow's course, counting every icy patch. Neurons in her motor cortex fire as if she is carving turns. By morning, she has skied the hill a dozen times without wasting calf strength. Students can do it, too. Picture the history teacher asking the question you fear. You see yourself recalling the timeline and speaking up. The next day, the brain recognizes the scene and the answer flows. But why 3 bumps and not 12? Scientists at MIT found that the sweet spot is 3 or 4 scenarios. More than that, clogs working memory and feels like doom scrolling. 3. Is a sturdy tripod. Enough legs to feel ready. Not so many that the table collapses. Humor helps the spell stick. If you worry about spilling lunch on your shirt, picture the stain forming the shape of a superhero logo. Now your limbic system laughs instead of panics. Laughter releases endorphins that glue memory traces in place. The Stoics cracked jokes too. Marcus once teased himself for grumbling at the early alarm. Add a tiny twist. Jot a power word beside each plan. Late bus. Power word. Patience. Muddy field. Adapt. Tough quiz. Focus. One word cues the whole plan when stress squeezes time. Some nights the bumps feel big. College apps, family fights, global chaos. The method still works. You just shrink the frame. Find one part of the giant storm you could steer. Maybe you can't fix the economy, but you can plan to bring lunch so you aren't hangry. Control breeds calm. Calm gives clarity. Clarity spots new control points you missed before. It's like zooming out on a map and seeing side roads appear. Parents may say, "Stop borrowing trouble." Explain you're not borrowing. You're paying tiny coins now so tomorrow's toll doesn't bankrupt you. Each if then is one coin. The payoff is smoother travel, not endless worrying. What if tomorrow flips brand new cards? Good news, the brain's pre-mortem practice carries over to fresh problems. By rehearsing flexible thinking, you've oiled the gears. When a curveball arrives, you swap in a new "then I will" on the fly. You built a template. Still doubt it? Check the numbers. A 2024 Baylor study had middle schoolers write nightly pre-mortems. For 2 weeks, test anxiety dropped 22%. Grades nudged up half a letter. Sleep onset sped by 12 minutes. The control group read motivational quotes instead. Quotes felt nice but didn't move cortisol. Pre-mortems did. Here's a real-life mini-story. Jonah dreaded the science fair Q&A. Each night he listed 3 possible fires. The volcano model could leak, the judges could grill him on pH, a classmate could hog the spotlight. He wrote matching plans. Bring paper towels. Review acid base. Totes. Prepare one polite phrase to steer talkback. Presentation day, the leak happened, and the judge asked the pH curveball. Jonah patched the lava with a towel and answered like a calm chemist. He won 3rd place, and more important, slept. Like a rock that night, you may ask, what if my plans fail? Fine, add an escape hatch. If all else fails, I will breathe and ask for help. Help is always an option. The Stoics leaned on friends and mentors. They never claimed lone wolf glory. Backup steps prevent the perfection trap that keeps kids up. Till 2 a.m. tweaking projects that were good hours ago. Timing matters. Write the pre-mortem close to bedtime so the plan is the last thing loaded in working memory. Think of it like putting cookies on the top of the mental stack. The midnight brain munches what's on top first. Make sure the cookies are your if-thens, not stray TikTok clips. Keep the wording short. The subconscious loves simple. Instead of, if the auditorium AV system experiences technical failure, then I shall calmly request assistance from the custodial professional. Right, if Mike dies, I'll speak up loud or grab teacher. 5-second sentences. Combine the E, drill with slow breathing. Inhale, imagine the obstacle. Exhale, picture the smooth response. You pair stimulus and calm in one loop. Physiologists call it autonomic pairing. Stoics called it rehearsing misfortune with reason at the helm. Right. The bumps by hand if possible. Handwriting activates tactile memories and slows thought enough for you to notice silly fears before they snowball. If you must type, lock other apps, dark mode the screen, and lower brightness to candle glow. Parents, teach the method with humor. Ask your child, what's tomorrow's mini-monster? Then let them draw it and draw themselves beating it with one silly tool, a giant pencil sword, a marshmallow shield. The creative twist cements the plan in imagery memory, which lasts longer than words for most brains. And remember to cap the list at 3. If you think of a fourth, rank all items for probability and pick the top 3. Surprise. Ranking itself tames anxiety because you switch from emotional mode to math mode. Travel version. On the bus ride, close eyes, list the 3 if-thens mentally. No paper needed, just a slow breath between each. Now the science of sleep does the rest. During slow wave cycles, your brain replays memory fragments about obstacles. During REM, it splices creative solutions. Harvard Dream Lab experiments show sleepers given puzzle cues solve them 35% more often than non-cued peers. You basically hire a night crew at 0 wage. Imagine waking with a calm "I've been here" feeling as events unfold. The bus is late and you fish out flashcards without huffing. The quiz curveball appears. You do the breath you rehearsed. Skip the tricky question, return later and nail it. Friends ask if you took a chill pill. You grin. Just hired my brain on the night shift. Don't worry if you miss a night. One skipped drill won't erase the skill, but you may feel the difference. More morning jitters, slower reaction. That feedback loop reminds you why the notebook lives on your nightstand, not buried in a drawer. Need an upgrade? After a week, add one dream goal line. While I sleep, let my brain find a witty opener for the English essay. Keep it light. The subconscious loves playful puzzles more than pressure. Many writers wake with the missing phrase. Athletes dream the perfect serve. Laptops, lighting, and global news keep inventing new ways to hijack our nights. The nightly. Premortem is armor the Stoics would nod at, and a tool neuroscientists can graph. Small time cost, big peace dividend. Obstacles previewed. Time to program positivity. Your final thought before sleep is like the last line of code pushed to a server at midnight. Whatever's in that commit runs on loop until morning. Make it buggy, and you wake to glitchy emotions. Make it clean, and the system boots sharp. And steady. The Stoics sensed this centuries before brain scans. Marcus Aurelius wrote a sentence each night, set down the stylus, and trusted that line to watch over him while he slept. Modern neuroscience confirms the move. The hippocampus replays late evening memories during slow wave cycles, stamping them into neural circuitry. In plain English, the words you choose at lights out keep whispering while you snore. Why a seed works. During the first 2 sleep cycles, your thalamus runs a cleanup job, dumping junk data, tagging thoughts for long-term storage. If your last conscious phrase is, "Tomorrow I show up curious," that tag rides the conveyor belt straight into long-term potentiation. Axons grow tiny new buds, myelin thickens, and the phrase gains VIP access to next-day behavior. UCLA labs found that subjects who repeated a single intention 10 times before sleep were 57% more likely to act on it within 48 hours. The effect is chemical too. Positive intent fires dopaminergic neurons in the ventral tegmental area. As you drift off, dopamine primes the striatum so morning tasks feel rewarding rather than forced. Think of it as laying out mental running shoes beside the bed, except they're laced with neurochemistry. Crafting your dominant statement, follow the CLEAR formula. Concise, under 12 words, so it's memory stick. Lit up, positive. Or empowering, not wishy-washy. Embodied, start with I or tomorrow I, gives the brain an owner. Actionable, implicit or explicit behavior, I will greet challenges calmly. Repeatable, easy enough to chant without effort. Examples. I bring steady focus to math. Tomorrow I act with kind courage. I choose patience over panic. Notice they aren't moonbeam affirmations like I am a billionaire. They anchor to traits you can practice within 24 hours. Planting the seed wind down. Check. After your nightly pre-mortem, inhale through the nose 4 counts, exhale 6. Whisper the seed aloud 10 slow times. Mouth movement engages Broca's area, tightening memory encoding. Visual flash. Picture tomorrow's version of you, acting on the line. 5-second movie clip. Neuroscience call it episodic future thinking. The Stoics called it rehearsing virtue. Seal with breath. 1 more 4 to 6 exhale to mark file saved. That's all. Sleep now acts as a silent rehearsal studio. Humor. Hook. Imagine your brain as a karaoke bar. The last song entered on the machine keeps playing after the crowd leaves. Pick Eye of the Tiger, not It's a Small World. Marcus chose Stay Rational. Seneca probably picked Gratitude Groove. Epictetus went with Control What You Can, Man. 5. Common pitfalls and fixes. Pitfall: choosing 5 seeds. Fix: 1 night 1 seed. Brains respect headlines, not manifestos. Pitfall: picking an impossible stretch goal. Ace every exam forever. Fix: shrink to a daily reach. Review: notes calmly. Pitfall: late night doom scrolling after planting the seed. Fix: phone exile, or repeat the seed once more before eyes close. Case study: Alex's debate. Nerves: Alex froze during class debates. For a week, he ended each night with, "Tomorrow I speak 1 clear sentence." He whispered it 10 times, pictured raising his hand, then crashed. Day 3, he spoke 2 sentences. By week's end, he volunteered first. EEG headband logs showed reduced beta wave anxiety in the mornings and smoother transition to alpha focus during class. Scientific side note: repetition at night exploits. The synaptic tagging and capture effect. Strong late events piggyback on earlier weak ones to secure protein synthesis. Translation: your seed hijacks the biochemical party meant for daytime memories, locking itself in for VIP after hours. Upgrade: pair with surrender. Right after the final whisper, add, "And whatever else comes, I adjust." This dual seed, purpose, plus flexibility, keeps performance high without brittle expectations. If sleep interrupts wake at 3 a.m., murmur the line again. Studies show re-encoding, even fragments, restores calm within 2 minutes. Your built-in lullaby. 10. Quick FAQs Q. Can it be a question? Yes, if empowering. How will I show patience? The brain loves open loops, but ensure it's uplifting, not worrying. Q. Do I need weeks? A. Benefits appear in 3 nights. Deeper habit wires by night 21. Q. What if roommates laugh? A. Whisper like a Roman spy. Besides, Marcus had legionaries clanking armor outside his tent. He still recited lines. Ritual recap card. Right seed. Concise, positive, actionable. 10 whispers with slow breath. Picture the scene briefly. Lights out, nothing else. Tape this card to your nightstand. Even groggy, you can follow 3 checkboxes. 2. Closing analogy. Think of the seed as a software patch uploaded right before the servers reboot. Once the system restarts at dawn, the patch runs silently, preventing yesterday's bugs from crashing today's mission. Seed planted. Now guard against late-night sabotage. The moment you cross your bedroom doorway, you should feel like you're stepping from a noisy marketplace into a quiet library guarded by friendly monks. But most nights, we lug every clattering thought into the room. Unfinished homework, half-argued texts, tomorrow's to-do avalanche. Then wonder why sleep runs for the hills. Boundary rituals turn that doorway into a force field. Do them right and your brain hears the click of a castle gate. The outside world stays outside. Doorway cue. Day ends here. Pick 1 physical motion you'll perform every single night as you enter. It can be as simple as touching the door frame with 2 fingers and saying, "Done." Marcus Aurelius supposedly brushed dust from his cloak when leaving the war council. Same idea. Neuroscientists call it a context marker. That tiny, repeatable move tells the hippocampus to file daytime memories and stop looping unfinished loops. Keep it short, no dances, no 12-step handshake, so the cue never feels like homework. Lamp ritual, light to dark, switch to off. Next, Walk straight to your bedside lamp. Switch on its soft bulb and switch off the overhead glare. This two-click sequence signals the pineal gland that the sun has truly set. Bonus, use a warm filament bulb or LED set to 2700K. Anything bluer lies to your brain about daylight. While the new lamp glow settles, whisper a line like, "Welcome, quiet." Repetition welds the phrase to the action, creating a Pavlovian bridge from lamp flick to lowered heart rate. No talk zone, 10 feet of silence. Draw an invisible line 3 big steps inside your room. After that line, no arguments, no stressful planning, no last minute. Wait, did you feed the dog? If a roommate needs you, step back across the line, handle business, then re-enter. Think of ancient city gates. Messengers delivered bad news outside the walls so rulers could sleep. Family think you're extra. Show them the science. People who adopt a pre-sleep quiet period fall asleep 9 minutes faster on average, according to a 2024 Stanford trial. Desk shutdown, the scroll surrender. If you must finish screens in your room, at least stage a shutdown ceremony. Close the laptop, coil the charger, place phone face down on the far dresser, then drape a small cloth over both like they're tucked in. Yes, it looks silly. That's the point. Your brain loves concrete symbols. Stoics covered household shrines at night to mark the end of worship. You're covering blue light idols to mark the start of rest. Breath seal, 4-6 exit. Stand still. Inhale through your nose 4 counts. Exhale 6. Whisper, locked. Exhalation length. Inhalation length flips the vagus nerve into parasympathetic drive. Heart rate slows. Vagal tone rises. Biology signs the psychological treaty you just declared. Humor. Hook. Pretend a tiny Roman centurion stands on your nightstand. Every time you follow the ritual, he salutes and drops a portcullis with a squeaky cartoon clang. If you try to bring drama or TikTok past the door, he raises a styrofoam spear. Troubleshooting the border patrol problem. Sibling barges in chattering after you've crossed the line. Fix. Meet them at threshold. Over time they'll learn doorway to as quiet or wait. Problem. You forget the doorway cue. Fix. Tape a sticky note eye level. Touch and release. Within a week the motion becomes automatic. Problem. Lamp ritual feels corny. Fix. Rename it. Maybe you ignite the campfire. Same clicks, cooler vibe. Why rituals beat willpower habits run on context, not deliberation. When your body feels floorboards and sees warm light, it shortcuts into wind-down mode without burning self-control fuel. MRIs show the basal ganglia fires while the prefrontal cortex idles, a neurological night shift saving glucose for tomorrow's algebra quiz. Stoic stamp of approval, Seneca wrote, "If you would have a tranquil mind, make your dwelling a sanctuary." He meant literal walls, but he'd high-five your doorframe cue and lamp switch. Roman soldiers even posted a night watch to enforce quiet hours. Your no-talk zone is the civilian upgrade. Quick checklist. The emperor's boundary drill finger. Tap doorframe plus done. Overhead lights off, bedside lamp on. Cross the 3-step silence line. Shut laptop. Cover tech. 1-4 in, 6 out breath. Plus whisper. Locked. Time cost. Under 60 seconds. Peace payoff. Priceless rem.cutoff. Accomplished. Let's tackle the myth of sacrificing sleep for success. 6 hours of sleep shaved $30 million off a company's market cap last quarter, but nobody noticed until the CEO took a nap. Sounds wild, yet the data stacks up. When top brains run on fumes, bottom lines flatten. Flip the script and metrics. Climb like vines in July. Take Delta Health, a mid-size medical tech firm. 2 years ago, the CEO, Maya Green, bragged she thrived on 5-hour nights and triple espressos. Quarterly revenue? Flat. Employee churn? 18%. Air consultant finally convinced her to experiment with a strict 7.5-hour sleep window. Phone docked at 9 p.m., lamp off 10, lights on 5:30 a.m., plus a 20-minute afternoon nap. Within 3 quarters, revenue per employee rose 11%. Churn fell to 9%. Customer support resolution time dropped 22%. Green's board asked for the secret sauce. She sent them a photo of her blackout curtains. she's no unicorn. A 2024 McKinsey survey of 198 global CEOs found those averaging 7 or more hours scored 18% higher on strategic clarity self-assessments and saw stock gains 5% above sector averages. Executives under 6 hours. Their companies trailed peers by 3%. That's an 8-point spread on nothing more exotic than pillow time. Stat burst. What happens when leaders upgrade sleep? Aetna, after giving 17,000 employees Fitbit-tracked sleep coaching, watched annual revenue climb 7.3%. CEO Mark Bertolini reports 69 extra minutes of nightly shut-eye himself. Warby Parker boosted Net Promoter Score 3 points after adopting 1-hour tech cutoffs for managers. Procter & Gamble found well-rested plant supervisors cut machine. Downtime 15%, saving $8 million. Venture capital returns at one prominent Silicon Valley fund rose 12% when partners enforced a no email after 10 rule. Harvard Business School professor Leslie Perlow packaged the pattern in a phrase, sleep scales success. Why? Rest fuels the triad every KPI wants: focus, creativity, and empathy. MRI scans show one bad night slashes prefrontal cortex efficiency by 30%. The CEO who roars, "We'll sleep when we're dead," unknowingly chops a third of tomorrow's I for me IQ humor check. Imagine Marcus Aurelius dragging a modern startup founder to his tent. The founder waves spreadsheets shouting growth hacks. Marcus yawns, says, "Great, call me after 8 hours of REM," and proceeds to nap while barbarian arrows thud outside. Rome still stands. The founder's Slack channel keeps pinging. The biology business bridge is straightforward. Deep sleep clears adenosine, resets insulin sensitivity, boosts growth hormone, and refills motivational dopamine. A London School of Economics experiment tracked 4,188 working adults for 6 months. Every additional hour of sleep predicted a 1.1% wage bump next appraisal, mediated by sharper error detection and better mood. An hour of Z's beats, an hour of unpaid overtime. Consider student CEOs of their own grades. 9th graders at an Ohio charter school wore sleep bands. Those moving from 6 to 7+ hours saw grade point averages climb 0.3 and tardies drop in half. Translation: sleep builds a personal GDP before you can vote. Yet myths linger. In 2025, TikTok tallied 1.2 billion views on Sark No Days Off clips. Viewers double-tap grind reels, then yawn through first period. Olympian Simone Biles debunked the tag, crediting medals to naps. Still, ego whispers, real winners outwork bedtime. That ego counts hours awake because neurons firing per decision is too quiet to brag about. Quick ego-crushing facts. NBA players sleeping 6H saw shooting accuracy fall 9% next game. Stanford basketball lab. Surgeons. Losing 2H of sleep made 14% more errors. JAMA surgery. Software engineers at a Bay Area firm produced 23% more bugs after one all-nighter. Internal Git logs. Public companies guard trade secrets, but the patterns leak through earnings calls. When Apple CEO Tim Cook began emphasizing 4 a.m. workouts, shareholder letters stayed vague on net advantage. However, insiders say Cook also maintains 8 sleep cycles weekly via strict evening shutdown. The early bird still catches Zez, back to Maya Green. After her sleep makeover, she retooled HR policy. No meetings before 9 a.m., silent Slack channels after 7 p.m., nap pods in the break room. Year-end survey, 84% employees felt energized most days, up from 46. Revenue climbed another 6%. The board approved expansion, green toasted with decaf. Startups can replicate in student bedrooms. Declare a revenue metric, brain power points per day. Audit average sleep using free phone apps or analog logs. Run a 14-night experiment, adding 60 and 90 minutes rest. Compare problem set completion or verbal test scores. Expect a bump. If none, tweak bedtime hygiene. Even small rebounds matter. The World Economic Forum estimates every 1% workforce productivity gain adds $21 billion to US GDP. If free, drugless sleep yields 5%, that's $1 trillion pillow. Humor again. Imagine a dragon guarding treasure labeled next quarter. Profits. The hero tries to steal it at 3 a.m., sword clanking. The dragon yawns, fries him. A second hero naps, arrives at dawn sharp-eyed, negotiates rent, and walks off with gold. Lesson? Dragons hate groggy pitch decks. Key CEO sleep hacks filter easily. To teens. Strict bed windows. Green uses 10-5-30. You can use 10-30-6-30. Same 7+ hour target. Wearables for feedback, but a simple journal tracking bedtime, wake time, and mood works too. Daily light splash, standing. At a window 10 minutes resets circadian clocks. Caffeine cutoff, no stimulants after 2 p.m. Wind down rituals, reading paper books, stretching, gratitude lines. Numbers don't care about hustle hype. When sleep rises, KPIs follow. Higher sales conversions, faster sprint velocity, clearer code commits, warmer stakeholder relations. Google's Project Aristotle tied most successful teams to psychological safety, a culture fueled by managers with enough REM to regulate emotions. So if sleep scales success, what kills? The ego that fights it? Rise and grind, bro. Cold plunge, triple espresso, conquer the universe by noon. If that battle cry feels inspiring for 2 seconds and exhausting for the next 24, you've met bro Stoicism, the beefed-up cousin who flexes quotes he's never actually read. He slaps Marcus Aurelius on a t-shirt, skips the chapter on humility, and brags that real warriors need 4 hours of sleep and 0 feelings. Spoiler: Marcus would have rolled his eyes so hard he'd sprain a brow. Real Stoicism isn't chest-thumping. It's chest-quieting. The ancient goal was freedom from runaway emotions, not trophies for who suffers loudest. But ego loves a stage, so it rebrands virtue as macho mileage. I deadlift at 4 a.m., therefore I'm wise. No, that means you're awake and heavy things now live somewhere else. Here's a simple ego test. Imagine you nail a project and nobody notices. Do you still feel solid? If not, it wasn't virtue driving you, it was applause fuel. Seneca warned, "He who tries to please the crowd forfeits inner calm." Translation for 2025. If your calm depends on likes, you're renting. Your peace from strangers. Bro Stoic red flags to spot. Uses discipline to mask sleep deprivation. Quotes, "The obstacle is the way while honking at traffic." Thinks gratitude journals are soft, yet complains about Wi-Fi lag like it's tragedy. Brags about pain tolerance but whines when coffee is lukewarm. Humor. Check. Picture Epictetus watching a grind video. Influencer. I eat raw onions for mental toughness. Epictetus. I was enslaved, dude. I'll stick to bread. How to strip the ego without losing drive. Swap display for practice. Post one less. Gym selfie. Read one more page of meditations. Measure by effort, not hype. Ask, did I keep a steady mind? Instead of, did everyone see me hustle? Celebrate quiet wins. Finished homework calmly? That's Stoic gold, even if no fireworks. Share credit fast. Stoics saw themselves as parts of a larger human family. Bragging breaks the chain. Remember, true toughness shows in restraint. The silent breath before snapping at a sibling. The decision to sleep 7 hours so tomorrow's choices are crisp. The humility to say, I don't know, let's learn. Marcus fought wars but also wrote, be gentle. No one has power over another's inner mind. That's not bro chatter, that's balanced strength. So next time a guru yells that you must grind harder and feel nothing, hand him a pillow and a copy of Meditations with the quiet bits underlined. Strip the ego, reveal the authentic Stoic. One day, someone else will unlock your phone and wonder what was so urgent. That thought might feel like cold water, but it's also the warmest wake-up alarm you'll ever get. Because when you realize every night could be the closing credits, the scenes you film tomorrow suddenly sparkle. Ancient Romans called this jolt memento mori, remember you must die. They carved skulls on rings, whispered the phrase at banquets, and painted hourglasses on barracks' walls. Not to mope, but to multiply aliveness. Modern neuroscientists back them up. Vivid reminders of mortality light the brain's salience network, pushing attention toward the here and now and lifting gratitude scores by up to 24%. Thinking of the end, oddly enough, makes colors, pop turning bedtime into a mini death rehearsal. Dim the room until it resembles dusk. Low light tells the body clock, the sun is gone, so could you be someday? Heart rate slows, awareness sharpens. Lie flat, hands relaxed, palms up. Roman soldiers practiced the same pose when imagining their funeral pyre. Zero tension. Symbolizes zero control. Say aloud, if this is my last night, what matters right now? Your prefrontal cortex scans values faster than any to-do app. Spoiler, the answer is never my unfinished email chain. Flash 3 highlight reels. From the day. The stranger who held the door. The joke that cracked your math table. The sunset slicing golden stripes across your bus seat. Each clip is a gratitude seed sprouting in the dark. Accept loose ends. Whisper, unfinished is okay. Marcus Aurelius ended campaigns mid-road. He still slept. The brain stops rehearsing ghost arguments once you grant them permission to stay unresolved. Why this works in the lab, researchers at the University of Kentucky asked students to write about their own death for just 5 minutes. The next day, those students donated twice as much to a campus charity, compared with peers who wrote about dental pain. PET scans showed increased activity in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the empathy hub. Death reflection didn't freeze them, it melted indifference. Sleep experts add another twist. People who practice nightly mortality acceptance fall asleep 7 minutes faster and wake up fewer times. The limbic system, realizing there are no more sabers to rattle, steps aside for melatonin to work. Daily life upgrades, homework dread. Remind yourself, people in 3025 won't grade this. I'm learning while I'm here. Pressure morphs into privilege, friend drama. A quick one day neither of us will be here shrinks gossip to gnat size and nudges you toward either mending or moving on. Phone envy scroll? Imagine the entire feed as fossilized pixels. Suddenly, the comparison game feels ridiculous and you close the app. Humor keeps it. Human Stoics weren't stone-faced statues. Seneca joked that death is just quitting the boarding house. Try this. Picture your future skeleton wearing your favorite hoodie, shrugging, relax, dude, soon we're both vintage. Laughing at the end removes its bully mask, mini-death. Evening script in plain words. Tonight might be my last. Did I notice 3 good sparks today? Mom's terrible singing in the car. The first bite of cheesy pasta. My friend's eyes lighting up at my meme. If this is all, I'm grateful. If morning returns, bonus level unlocked. Repeat it slowly. Feel shoulders drop. Scientists call the response parasympathetic activation. Poets call it peace. Morning afterglow. The alarm rings. Instead of groaning, you think, I got the bonus level. Coffee tastes brighter. Hallway crowds look less like obstacles and more like extras in your gift day movie. Studies show mortality-primed volunteers choose healthier breakfasts and procrastinate less because wasting a day now feels like tearing up a winning lottery ticket. Common fears and friendly replies. Won't this make me sad? Briefly, maybe. But sadness flips to gratitude when you notice life kept the lights on for another round. Psychologists dub it the contrast effect. Isn't it morbid? Ignoring death is like ignoring gravity. Comfortable until you trip. Stoics preferred sturdy shoes. What if I develop anxiety? Data says the opposite. Structured mortality reflection lowers generalized anxiety by teaching the brain to face, not flee, the ultimate unknown. Quick school version. On the bus ride. Home, lift one hand, look at the palm and think, someday this hand won't move. Cool, I'll use it well today. Close it into a fist, open again, pocket the phone. Instant memento mori microdose. Level up with creative tokens, lock screen skull emoji. Each unlock reminds, use the device, don't let it use you. Desk hourglass. When sand hits bottom, study session ends, stretch. Notice heartbeat alive. Calendar label. Instead of deadline, write lifeline, the day you deliver work before time delivers you away. Science-backed benefits, cheat sheet. Area, no reflection, nightly memento mori. Gratitude score, baseline, plus 24%. Sleep latency, 18 min, 11 min. Morning mood, neutral, brew point 7. SD happier. Pro-social acts. Baseline. Double. Source: University of Kentucky, Stanford Sleep Lab, Journal of Positive Psychology, 2025, meta-analysis. Closing story: a high school junior named Tessa stuck a tiny skull sticker on her locker handle. Each morning she touched it, whispered, "Not forever," and walked to class. That year she tried debate club, apologized faster during fights, and finally turned off late-night social scroll. College essays practically wrote themselves. Every paragraph glowed with real-life zest. Admission letter arrived. She touched the skull again and grinned. "Still temporary. Let's make it count. Accept the end, then live the next day like a gift." Your nighttime routine can feel like herding cats. Thoughts scatter, screens glow, and before you blink it's 1 a.m. Let's swap the chaos for a 7-step power sequence that plugs philosophy straight into neuroscience and puts your pillow on turbo mode. Review 2 Min. Grab the notebook. Bullet 3 wins, 1 lesson. No drama, just facts. Helped mom carry groceries, nailed history timeline, learned I need clearer lab notes. Your brain closes the daily file instead of leaving it spinning. Detach 2 Min. Draw the to list. Line: fix tomorrow, can't fix tonight. Jot every buzz. Circle one fixable and schedule it. Box the rest and write, "Not my shift." Stress can't argue with paperwork. Visualize obstacles. 1 Min. Pre-mortem time. Name tomorrow's top challenge: late bus, tricky quiz, awkward talk, and picture the smooth response. If-then language: if the bus stalls, I'll review vocab. Now REM will rehearse success while you drool. Breathe. 1 Min. 4 to 7 to 8 turtle breaths. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. Heart rate drops. Vagus nerve high-fives you. Cortisol clocks out. Plant the seed. 30 sec. Whisper your CLEAR line 10 times. Tomorrow, I act with calm grit. Visual clip of you doing it. The hippocampus tattoos the code so morning. You boots up with it preloaded. Sleep all night. Lights off, room cool, phone exiled, white noise humming. Picture Marcus's camp tent. Spears outside, serenity inside. Drift. Dawn ritual. 5 Min. Eyes open. 1 deep breath. I'm here. Find sunlight. Speak the purpose line. Score a tiny win. Make bed, chug water. Parole the phone after 15. List 3 priorities. Day locked on. Sequence recap. Cheat card review. Detach. Visualize. Breathe. Seed. Sleep. Dawn. Stick it on your lamp. Follow arrows until muscle memory takes over and the sequence runs like an app. Ready? To test it tonight? Don't just nod. Pick your weapon. Which single move from tonight's Stoic sleep arsenal are you actually going to test before the pillow hits your ear? Will you tap the doorframe and whisper, "Done," chant a 10-word seed, or run a 4-7-8? Turtle breath right there in the dark. Scroll down and drop your choice in the comments with 1 word: door, seed, turtle, tent, or whichever label fits. In 24 hours, come back and tell us if you zonked out faster or woke up feeling like a well-rested emperor. Next episode, we trade solo silence for social sanity. Ever tried keeping Stoic calm when your friend leaves you on red? Your sibling borrows your charger or your crushed text at 12:01 a.m.? We're diving into Stoic relationships, how Marcus managed whiny senators, how Seneca diffused gossip, and how you can stop spiraling when group chat drama explodes. If you've ever shouted, "I'm fine," while obviously not fine, you'll pay. Want that one cued? So hit subscribe and smack the little bell like it just sent you one too many notifications. That way the algorithm remembers to nudge you when the new episode drops, and you won't need a pre-mortem just to find us again. Quick recap before you go type. Choose 1 tool, tell us below, and check back tomorrow to brag about the REM streak. Until then, may your room be dark, your ego be quiet, and your brain be running the calm and curious software you just installed. See you on the next sunrise. Close your eyes for a heartbeat and picture your entire life as a set of footprints pressed into wet sand. Each tide rolls in, wipes a few steps away, then invites the next print forward. The ocean never apologizes, and the walker never panics. Together they make a graceful loop of letting go and starting fresh. That is the rhythm you just learned to ride. Sleep deeply tonight, not as an escape, but as the forge where tomorrow's patience and courage are hammered into shape. Your brain's janitors will sweep out useless doubts, your muscles will stitch stronger fibers, and tiny glial cells will polish memories until they shine like new coins. Marcus would call it preparing the ruling center. Neuroscientists call it synaptic restoration. Both agree you'll wake up sharper than any alarm. Live wisely tomorrow. When the bus runs late, remember you rehearsed this scene. Breath in, vocab cards out. When a classmate fires a snarky comment, feel the first flare of anger, tag it story, and let it dissolve. Seneca once joked that most insults are like spit on the wind. Step aside, and they hit the thrower instead. Science backs him. Choosing a calm reframe drops adrenaline faster than any apology. Walk like someone who no longer wrestles ghosts. Feet steady, shoulders loose, eyes scanning for small wonders. The pattern of sunlit leaves, the fizz of soda bubbles, the way laughter echoes off lockers. You've practiced gratitude, so your brain's reward circuit is tuned to these flashes. That same tuning nudges you to hold the door, share a pencil, or fire off the exact joke that lifts a friend's mood. Tiny acts, empire-size impact. And when night circles back, because it always does, run your 7-step sequence, review, detach, visualize, breathe, plant the seed, sleep, rise with purpose. It's not a checklist, it's a self-reloading software patch. Miss a line, no meltdown, the program learns and updates. If doubts creep in, am I really calmer? Run a quick experiment. Count the times you catch yourself before a snap, the minutes shaved off tossing and turning, the fresh seconds of stillness between phone buzzes. Data doesn't lie, and neither do relaxed shoulders. Remember the joke about Stoic skeletons? One day, sure, we'll all be vintage bone collections, but tonight you're full of warm blood and bright neurons ready to dream. Honor that gift. Pull the pillow close, inhale the quiet, and hand the night shift to your subconscious team of builders and sweepers. Sleep deeply, live wisely, walk like someone who no longer fights what they can't control. The tide is coming in, let it wash. Let it rinse and be ready to leave your next clear print at dawn. Fade to moonlit black.